million train station they have just built. The new station replaces a tiny waiting area that could only hold 10. Lincoln's mayor says it will be great for his city to get a new stop along the brand new high-speed tracks still being installed from Chicago to St. Louis. A Central Illinois university is a key player in the ongoing competition aimed at deploying 3D printers to build a habitat on Mars if and when humans travel to the red planet. Chicago Tribune reporting that Bradley University is a partner with the 3D Printed Habitat Challenge. It's organized by NASA. Several companies are also involved as sponsors. Competition started in 2015, and Phase 3 was entered in November, and Bradley is still part of that competition. And it's a happy birthday for the state of Illinois. Bicentennial celebration begins today. Illinois will see a year-long party that culminates a year from now when the state turns 200. Robbie Gould nailed the game-winning 24-yard field goal with 4 seconds left. 49ers stumped the Bears 15-14. Gould nailing 5 field goals against his former team. Bulls try to end an 8-game losing skid tonight facing the Cavaliers. The Kings came to life last night in the third, grabbing a 3-1 win over the Blackhawks at the UC. Jonathan Taves' tally avoided the shutout for Chicago. Clemson, Oklahoma, Georgia, and Alabama, the top 4 in the college football playoff rankings. They're headed to the national semis. The rest of the college football bowl season will look a little bit like this. Northwestern takes on Kentucky in the Music City Bowl. Notre Dame takes on LSU in the Citrus Bowl. The Quick Lane Bowl are Northern Illinois Huskies taking on Duke on December 26. Kind of a rough start for the Big Ten basketball season for Fighting Illini. Fighting Illini lost 2 overtime games over the weekend, Friday to Northwestern, and then lost at home to Maryland yesterday, 92-91. Monday Night Football just ahead of us, Steelers and Bengals. The news, a service of Discover Card. Discover Card alerts you if they find your Social Security number on any one of thousands of risky websites. It's just another way they look after you, not just your account. Free for card members. Sign up online at discover.com/free alerts. Limitations apply. 5:08, we'll have a check of traffic and weather on the way next on AM 560.
Mike Gallagher is hoping America comes to its senses on sanctuary cities.
A city like San Francisco protects a guy like the Kate Steinle killer so he can be out on the street to do what he did. This will spur an even greater insistence
and make the wall
and make the elimination of sanctuary cities even more imminent.
The Mike Gallagher Show. Weekdays at 9, right before Dennis Prager at 11 on AM 560. The Answer.
I'm Jay Farner from Quicken Loans. The rate today on a 30-year fixed-rate mortgage is 3.875%, APR 4.05%. But choosing the right mortgage lender involves so much more than just a rate. Only Quicken Loans has earned 11 J.D. Power Awards. No other lender comes close to that level of client satisfaction. And we invented Rocket Mortgage. It gives our clients a simpler, hassle-free way to get a mortgage completely online in minutes. No one else has anything like it. And our people. Each one of our 17,000-plus team members throughout Detroit, Cleveland, and Phoenix provides absolute client satisfaction each and every day. So why would you go anywhere else to get your mortgage? Go to America's #1 online lender. Call Quicken Loans today at 800-QUICKEN or go to rocketmortgage.com for the best mortgage experience on earth. That's 800-QUICKEN.
Call for cost information and conditions. Equal housing lender licensed in all 50 states. NMLSConsumerAccess.org number 3030.
Americans have the right and advantage of being armed, unlike the citizens of other countries whose governments are afraid to trust the people with arms. James Madison, Federalist Papers. Our founders recognized that the common individual needs to be trusted, but with trust, there must be common sense and personal responsibility. This is especially true of handguns. If you've been thinking of making a purchase, visit the Range at 355. The Range at 355 is so much more than a state-of-the-art shooting range. It is a fully stocked showroom carrying a variety of firearms with brands like Smith & Wesson, Sig Sauer, HKs, and Glock. The Range at 355 offers Illinois concealed carry license training and a full curriculum of classes designed to teach you what you need to know to be a responsible gun owner and concealed carrier. Their professional team will train you like a pro. Founded by patriots like you, providing professional guidance and courteous instruction. Trust your skills to the pros at the range at 355. For range hours and class info, visit range355.com. Range355.com.
5:10 in Chicago, and a check of the roads this morning in the Alarm Detection Systems Traffic Center. In for Jim, here's Al Faraday. Good morning, Al.
Good morning, Mike. No delays at all on the Edens right now. It's 19 in or out from Lake Cook to the Kennedy Junction. On the Kennedy, that's moving well. It's 20 either way between O'Hare and downtown. Eisenhower inbound, just 29 minutes back out to the post office. No delays out. Stevenson is wide open both directions, same for 55 and the Ryan. On the outbound, Ryan, the on-ramp from 87th, that's closed for overnight road work. It should be reopened by about 6 this morning. No delays to report on 57, Bishop Ford or Lakeshore Drive. Route 390 is moving well. Same thing for the Tri-State Adams Reagan Veterans Memorial. Traffic is a service of Indeed.com. Are you hiring? Join the over 3 million businesses that use Indeed.com for hiring. You can post a job in minutes and manage your candidates from an easy-to-use dashboard. Post your next job on the world's #1 job site, Indeed.com. Traffic answers when you need them most. I'm Al Verity on AM 560, The Answer.
Chicago's Morning Answer starts next. Your official Chicagoland weather forecast with meteorologist Garrett Beck.
There's a wind advisory in effect for this afternoon into tomorrow. Today, windy and cloudy with a couple of showers and a thunderstorm, the high 63. Tonight, periods of rain and a thunderstorm in the evening with winds gusting past 45 miles per hour and a low 32. I'm Garrett Beck on AM 560, The Answer.
53 at O'Hare, 53 along the lakefront. It's 52 at Midway. Your next news update is at 5:30. Chicago's Morning Answer with Dan and Amy starts now on AM 560, The Answer.
This hourly segment is brought to you by Secure Retirement Radio with host Raj Shah. Sunday mornings at 7 on AM 560, The Answer.
This is Chicago's Morning Answer with Dan Proft and Amy Jacobson on AM 560. The Answer.
Good morning, Dan and Amy. So how did you enjoy the Flynn-sanity over the weekend?
Its head was spinning for a little bit of who to believe, who not to believe, and then this mysterious author of President Trump's tweets, Mr. Dowd, comes forward and claims he has penned some of President Trump's stuff.
Yeah, it's one of his attorneys.
Yeah, so there's a ton to get to this morning. What did you make of all of it?
Not much.
Well, the ladies at The View loved it.
Yeah.
I saw them.
So here's what happened when this was announced on Friday that Flynn was pleading. The ladies at The View, Joy Behar, Joy Behar got this emergency memo from one of the producers behind the scenes. She read this aloud and the reaction that ensued.
Welcome back to the show.
Breaking news.
Oh, my God. Oh, breaking news. ABC News' Brian Ross is reporting Michael Flynn promised full cooperation to the Mueller team and is prepared to testify that as a candidate, Donald Trump directed him to make contact with the Russians. Yeah!
Oh.
It was a standing O.
Yeah. Well, then this happened. ABC News suspends Brian Ross for 4 weeks without pay, effective immediately.
Yeah,
Oh.
he made a mistake on Friday. Here's his mistake. Oh, come on, Next Gen. Come on. Oh.
The angry Michael Flynn is telling a confidant he feels abandoned by Donald Trump, and with his guilty plea is eager now to fully cooperate and testify, if needed, against the president and others in the White House.
So Flynn was saying he was being directed by the president to inquire, to reach out to the ambassador of
Right.
Russia.
He was directed to contact Russian officials about helping combat ISIS in Syria,
Right. Not about trying to meddle in the election.
which would have been past post at the time anyway.
So then he had to apologize Friday night, and he actually looked scared.
But according to a confidant of the general, Flynn says Trump did direct him to contact the Russians during the transition, initially about working together against ISIS. Flynn is the highest-ranking member so far of the Trump inner circle to be prosecuted in the Russia investigation. During the campaign, it was Flynn who famously called for Hillary Clinton to be put behind bars.
Lock her up. Well, it was a wrong bite. It's okay.
So
we're going to get through.
So ABC News, after suspending Ross for 4 weeks without pay for that misreporting. Now, this is not the first time we've had this instance with Brian Ross, is it?
No.
No, it isn't. He had to apologize for reporting, suggesting a shooting suspect in the Colorado theater shooting was tied to the Tea Party because dogged journalist Brian Ross got the a rather common name, the shooter's rather common name. He misidentified which
he just looked
person by that name was actually the shooter.
Right.
Yeah.
Mess it up. And they didn't suspend him back then, I do not believe. But they have, this time, a 4-week suspension. That's a pretty big deal.
Now, Brian Ross, in his report, he didn't say whether or not Flynn is connected to the Tea Party. So we'll have to wait for him to get back from his 4-week suspension until we find that out. Here's the bottom line on the Flynn thing. I think Alan Dershowitz summed it up nicely, and we're going to have him on the show, by the way, at the bottom of the 7 o'clock hour to delve into this more deeply. But, of course, famed Harvard law prof Alan Dershowitz, and a Democrat, who's been kind of one of the lone voices of reason, of going where the facts lead, of distilling the actual legalities and potential legal exposure the Trump administration has on this whole Russian collusion matter, along with our friend Andy McCarthy at National Review Online. He had this to say on Fox and Friends over the weekend about what the plea agreement with Flynn for the charges that he is pleading guilty to, the one charge of lying to the FBI, what that actually means in terms of the strength of Mueller's investigation and the case that he's assembling.
Well, the last thing any prosecutor wants to do is to have to indict his primary witness for lying, because if you indict your witness for lying, it really means he's not useful as a witness. He has no credibility. I'm sure the prosecutor was trying to indict him for some scheme or conspiracy that involved other people in the White House, but there is nothing there. And he had to finally come down and indict him for lying, which makes him a useless witness. So this is not a show of strength by the prosecutor. It's a show of weakness. It's a show that they really have nothing on anybody above Flynn, and that Flynn made the terrible mistake about lying about something he could have told the truth about, because the two things he lied about were perfectly lawful, perfectly proper for somebody to do during the transition. And so I think it really reflects the weakness, not a strength, in Mueller's prosecution.
That's interesting. So now the rumors are that the next target is Jared Kushner.
Right.
But to Dershowitz's point, if everybody just tells the truth when they speak to the FBI, it doesn't seem like that Mueller has much of a case to make out against virtually anyone in the Trump orbit. That's the bottom line. The insanity and the impeachment talk notwithstanding. And by the way, that's not just Dershowitz, a Democrat law professor. That's also Obama's former CIA director, Leon Panetta, who had this to say about the Flynn plea.
Generally, incoming administrations really are very careful not to take action that could in any way disrupt something that the current administration is doing. This was very unusual. I don't, whether it breaks the law or not, I think that's probably a stretch.
Yeah. So, yeah, I mean, the issue is does the Logan Act control civilians engaging in foreign policy on behalf of the United States, an act that hasn't been in force, hasn't been used, I should say, for more than 200 years. That's the whole matter of Flynn making any contact with any foreign leader or their representative until the president is inaugurated. But is it illegal?
Is it illegal to do that? I mean, it is a bit of a stretch. Even somebody that I know who's a federal judge who's a lifelong Democrat said, well, he said it's a stretch because, as you mentioned, it hasn't been acted upon in decades. I mean, it's such a rarity. It's such an anomaly of a charge for him to face. And also, he could spend 6 months in jail. And the bottom line, too, is President Trump fired him once he found out Flynn lied to the vice president.
Yeah, that's right.
But then he had to put in the tweet that he lied to the FBI.
Well, that was
that was on Saturday. So now we have this new obstruction of justice possibility.
No, we really don't. And that's the email that you refer to, the tweet that you refer to from his attorney, Matthew
Dowd.
John Dowd, right. Matthew Dowd's that idiot on
please.
Stephanopoulos' show. John Dowd, who explained that, it was, he should have kind of full stop and then a second statement about lying to the FBI. He didn't mean it to be interpreted how it was interpreted. The bottom line is that even Jim Comey, back when he testified before the Senate in May on the matter of Flynn, listen to Comey and Rubio, or Comey responding to questions from Rubio.
The meeting in the Oval Office where he made the request about Mike Flynn, was that the only time he asked you to hopefully let it go?
Yes.
And in that meeting, as you understood it, he was asking not about the general Russia investigation. He was asking very specifically about the jeopardy that Flynn was in himself.
That's how I understood it, yes, sir.
And as you perceived it, while it was a request that you hoped you did away with it, you perceived it as an order, given his position, the setting, and the like, and some of the circumstances.
Yes.
At the time, did you say anything to the president about that is not an appropriate request, or did you tell the White House counsel that is not an appropriate request? Someone needs to go tell the president that he can't do these things?
I didn't, no.
Okay. Why?
I don't know. I think, as I said earlier, I think the circumstances were such that I was a bit stunned and didn't have the presence of mind. And I don't know, I don't want to make you sound like I'm Captain Courageous. I don't know whether even if I had the presence of mind, I would have said to the president, sir, that's wrong. I don't know whether I would have. Okay. But in the moment, it didn't come to my mind. What came to my mind is be careful what you say. And so I said, I agree Flynn is a good guy.
Mm-hmm. We concede you're not Mr. Courageous, Jim.
Are those the only two instances in which that sort of back and forth happened, where the president was basically saying, and I'm paraphrasing here, it's okay, do the Russia investigation. I hope it all comes out. I have nothing to do with anything Russia. It'd be great if it all came out, if people around me were doing things that were wrong.
Yes, as I recorded it accurately there, that was the sentiment he was expressing.
So that was the sentiment he's expressing, according to Jim Comey, who's now tweeting out football spiking quality tweets about Flynn going down after Manafort did. That was my understanding, just said Jim Comey. Go wherever the facts lead, find out whatever you find out. If people around me are doing wrong, then they should be held accountable. So what are we talking about here? Doesn't seem like much. Ben in Racine, you're on Chicago's Morning Answer.
Yeah, good morning, Dan and Amy. I was just listening to a judge talk a couple of days ago, and what he said about this Joseph Denova or whatever, and he was a prosecutor, and he said, there's nothing burger here. Where's the there? Where's the there? There's no crime committed whatsoever. Where is it? You know?
Yeah, thanks.
And also, I was going to say, Dan, also when you get Alan Dershowitz on there, he even said the same thing, too. He said, how many more millions of dollars are the taxpayers going to pay for this circus?
Thanks, Ben.
You know what
Before you see it on TV, share it on Facebook, or read about it in the paper. Hear it here first. This is Chicago's Morning Answer on AM 560. The Answer.
Oh, what a windy and warm day. 52 degrees right now, going up to a high of 63 degrees. We have a couple of showers in the area, a thunderstorm later, and a wind advisory kicks in at 3 o'clock this afternoon. Wind gusts of up to 45 miles per hour. Let's get into the Alarm Detection Systems Traffic Center. Al Verde in for Jim Telemonte.
Good morning, Amy, Dan. On the Edens, we've got no delays whatsoever. That means 19 either way from Lake Cook to the Kennedy Junction. On the Kennedy, inbound is jammed up now between the O'Hare Extension and Cumberland, where an accident's got the left lane blocked. Still not too bad. It's only 23 in from O'Hare to downtown. Moves pretty well once you get past that. Outbound, no delays, so 20-minute trip. Eisenhower, either way, 29 from Thorndale to the post office. Stevenson, wide open both directions. 55 is moving well. Dan Ryan inbound, a 17-minute ride from 95th downtown. Express lanes inbound are heavy from 31st to the Stevenson. And then the locals from 18th into the Byrne interchange back up a little bit. No outbound delays. Now, outbound at 87th, the on-ramp is closed, but that should be reopening by about 6 this morning. Bishop Ford inbound taps the brakes between Cottage Grove and the Rhine. It's only 16 in from 8094. I'm Al Verdi in the Alarm Detection Systems Traffic Center.
Roof is needy?
Call Grumweedy. 630-595-8020.
Roof is leaky?
Call Grumweedy.
630-595-8020. Shingles are curly?
Call Grumweedy.
630-595-8020. Roof isn't right after it's stormy?
Call Grumweedy.
630-595-8020.
Here comes winter. Well, soon. This is Mark Olson.
And Greg Olson of Crumweedy.
Since 1953, the roof guys for your home and business.
We fix roof problems.
Get it done before the winter comes.
Hate the high pressure?
Not from us.
We give you multiple options. Then you choose.
A roof that lasts at a fair price.
We fix roof problems.
When your roof is needy,
call Grumweedy.
How about the number?
630-595-8020. 630-595-8020.
Call us. We make sure your warranty is in place. Crumweedy, 630...
Wait. Just remember, myroofisneedy.com.
Men, as you mature, hair starts showing up in the strangest places. Is your caveman brow becoming more noticeable? Hair growing out of your ears and nose? Annoying, isn't it? Or maybe you feel like the Wolf Man. Did you know you can do something about it?
Hi, I'm Mary Ann DePaul of Mary Ann DePaul & Associates, and I'm one of the state's original laser professionals with more than 25 years experience, and I'm here to help you. Let's get you cleaned up. Think of how great you feel after a good haircut. I can help you take it a step further with a signature treatment. You're going to feel great and not have to worry about those bothersome unwanted hairs ever again. I can also help rejuvenate your skin with special treatments like microdermabrasion and MediLifts. These can help your appearance. There are no packages to buy, and I'm centrally located in downtown Mount Prospect. Get more information at maryandepaul.com and make an appointment today. Call 708-848-0024.
Folks, when shopping for a home mortgage, how much is great service, low closing costs, and competitive interest rates worth to you? At Townstone Financial, it's priceless. Hi, Barry Sterner, founder of Townstone Financial. Let's hear about the Townstone experience from one of our customers.
You're making a big commitment, and having people like you guys on our side really eased all that tension that we had. I have friends that are in the process of looking at homes and, trying to get their feet wet with, just getting into the real estate market, and I've already, given your guys' name out. Absolutely. You guys are hands down one of the best companies I've ever dealt with. You guys are top-notch excellent.
Remember, nobody values your home mortgage business more than Townstone. I guarantee it, and I own the company. So call me now, Barry Sterner, at 312-896-2110. That's 312-896-2110. Or go to townstone.com. That's TOWNSTONE.com.
Townstone Financials, Indiana, Michigan, Wisconsin, Florida, Illinois, mortgage licensee 6629 and NMLS 136639, equal housing lender.
AM 560, The Answer.
Yeah, so we'll talk about that thing later. But I met a wonderful Haitian man over the weekend who is familiar with food for the poor, used to live in Haiti, and then came to this country after the 2010 earthquake.
Happy to be here, I'm sure.
Oh, he is. And he's a productive member of society, but he appreciates what Food for the Poor does. And we've partnered up with them again for our 2017 campaign. This year, we're raising the bar a little bit. Our goal is to provide food for a year and water for life for 3,000 children in Haiti and in Guatemala, and for those who are suffering in the Caribbean and Latin America due to the string of hurricanes. One-time donation, $50. With that, you will feed a child for a year and provide clean water for life. The number to call there, 844-862-4673, or simply go to 560theanswer.com. Search for the keyword food. I made a donation. Takes a matter of seconds. So
and
get on it.
And in addition to the individual donations, we're also featuring our business benefactor program again this year. We've already had Elgin Recycling, Hayward HVAC,
Nice.
TTI Medical Training, and Chris Jacobs Century 21 affiliated. All of those enterprises have signed up to the business benefactor program, among others. And that program, $2,500 tax-deductible gift to Food for the Poor. And in response to your generosity, to show our gratitude, we're providing 40 60-second commercials for your business that will run Monday to Friday, 5 a.m. to 8 p.m., our prime broadcasting hours. All you do to enroll in the Business Benefactor Program, call our sales director, Michael Mann, at 847-871-1527. Again, that's Michael Mann, 847-871-1527 for the Business Benefactor Program.
Coming up on Chicago's Morning Answer.
Will Amy marry her housekeeper in order to keep her in the country? And we'll talk about the tax plan.
But first, let's go to the newsroom. Here's Mike Scott.
Amy and Dan, good morning. Good morning, everyone. 51 degrees, cloudy skies, winds from the south at 14, and a lot of eyes will be watching the state of Florida today, where a former Florida congresswoman could be going to prison for a decade. All eyes on U.S. District Court in Jacksonville early this morning as Corinne Brown is sentenced for her 18 fraud and tax felony convictions. The Democrat served 24 years in Congress. She was indicted last year, you may recall, on charges of heading up a criminal conspiracy to use a fake charity as her own personal slush fund. National Security Advisor H.R. McMaster says chance of war with North Korea goes up every day.
I don't think our allies need any reassurance. In fact, what we're doing is continuing to work with them on all the key challenges we face today.
President Trump's National Security Advisor telling a forum at the Reagan Presidential Library over the weekend the threat of war rises each time the North tests the missile. Senator Mark Warner believes there will be much more revealed from a special prosecutor on charges against former National Security Advisor Michael Flynn.
General Flynn was only charged with one account, a major account, lying to the FBI. I believe means that there's many more stories that General Flynn will have to tell about his time during the campaign and during the transition.
The Virginia Democrat gave his opinion on CNN's State of the Union. General Flynn, according to Warner and his son, were in a great deal of legal jeopardy. Alabama's Republican Senate candidate Roy Moore leading Democrat Doug Jones in the latest poll in that race. CBS News, a poll of likely voters, shows Jones leading 49 to 43%. New polling out this morning shows Moore is up 6 points. In a separate poll, the race is even among registered voters in both polls. Lake County, Illinois authorities investigating sexual abuse allegations against a former conductor of the Ravinia Festival in suburban Highland Park. One of those accusers is a suburban native, Ashok Pai, who filed a report with the Lake Forest Police Department last year against Metropolitan Opera conductor James Levine. An investigation is underway following a deadly shooting over the weekend in west suburban River Forest. And one more piece of the high-speed rail puzzle is almost in place in central Illinois. The ribbon is snipped on a new train station in Lincoln, tying together major portions of the high-speed rail track between Chicago and St. Louis. Robbie Gould, the game-winning field goal with 4 seconds left. 49ers beat the Bears 15-14. Bulls try to end an 8-game losing skid tonight, facing the Cavaliers, and the Kings came back in the third to beat the Blackhawks 3-1. The news, a service of Indeed.com. Are you hiring? Join the over 3 million businesses that use Indeed.com for hiring. Post a job in minutes. Manage your candidates from an easy-to-use dashboard. Post your next job on the world's #1 job site, Indeed.com. 5:33, a check of traffic and weather on the way next on AM 560.
This hourly segment is brought to you by Papa Nicholas Coffee. Papa Nicholas, best beans, best roast, best coffee. Tom Kaloran Photography is ready to memorialize your office holiday party with photos that come to life and bring your team together. From large group photos to individual portraits, wallet size to panoramic, your photos can even be printed on location as a take-home keepsake for your party guests. Whether it's a formal dinner or company potluck, Tom Kaloran Photography can create the right feel for your event. They did the photography for AM 560's Freedom Summit 2017, and the finished product was amazing. And here's an idea of just one more thing to make the holidays stress-free. Hire Tom Kaloran Photography for your family's annual Christmas get-together. You won't have to worry about taking pictures with everyone's phone or the hassle of getting everyone's email addresses to share photos with the family. With Tom Kaloran Photography, you'll have pictures with all the generations together in one place and can send every relative home with their own memory to hold on to forever. Call 708-361-0025 or visit KaloranPhotography.com. KILLORAN photography.com.
Looking for that magical holiday gift and not sure where to go? Don't worry, I have the perfect place. Hi, it's Mike Gallagher here to tell you that you need to give a gift from Roland's Jewelers. They'll help you create that magical holiday moment. You know that buying jewelry is all about trust. Well, Roland's Jewelers in downtown Libertyville is a place you can trust. Who else would offer AM 560 listeners up to $500 in savings on designer brands like Mickey Moto, John Hardy, and Roberto Coin? You can also save on luxury watches you love like Tag Heuer, Michelle, and Shinola. You know, as an AM 560 listener, you'll save up to $500 at Roland's Jewelers in downtown Libertyville. Visit RolandsJewelers.com, ROLLAND, RolandsJewelers.com. And this holiday season, trust Roland's to make all your gift-giving magical. Roland's Jewelers, a family-owned jeweler you can trust.
5:36. Let's get an update on the roads in the Alarm Detection Systems Traffic Center in Virginia. Here's Al.
Thanks, Mike. On the Edens, things are still moving very well both directions. The inbound Kennedy, we got a problem at Cumberland. The left lane is blocked and traffic is backed up from the O'Hare extension. Once you get past that, you're in good shape. But 24 in from O'Hare to downtown. And outbound, really not seeing a big delay there. The Eisenhower in, that's 31 minutes. Thorndale to the post office, outbound still in good shape. Stevenson in is 39 from 355 to Lakeshore Drive, outbound good. 55 good both directions. Dan Ryan in is a 20-minute trip, 95th to downtown. Outbound, we've got 3 left lanes closed between 87th and 95th, and traffic is slowing there. That work is scheduled to be picked up by about 6 this morning. And Bishop Ford in slows 111 to the Ryan. Traffic is service of Discover Card. Discover Card alerts you if they find your Social Security number on any one of thousands of risky websites. Just another way they look after you, not just your account. It's free for card members. Sign up online at discover.com/free alerts. Limitations apply. Traffic answers when you need the most. I'm Al Verdi on AM 560, The Answer.
Chicago's Morning Answer continues next. Your official Chicagoland weather forecast. A couple of clouds this morning, showers, and a thunderstorm through the midday. Now, here's the thing to worry about this afternoon. A wind advisory comes up around 3. Wind gusts could top 40 miles an hour this afternoon with a high of 63. Windy, rainy, overnight, cloudy and colder, low 36. And then tomorrow, temperatures drop to 38 for a high temp, 32 on Wednesday, 28 on Thursday, and snow, and 30 on Friday. 53 at O'Hare. Next news at 6. Chicago's Morning Answer with Dan and Amy continues next on AM 560, The Answer.
This hourly segment is brought to you by the Lou Bridges Show. Get foreclosure defense solutions that may save your home. Saturday mornings at 8 on AM 560, The Answer.
Chicago's Morning Answer with Dan and Amy continues now. And make sure to stay tuned to catch me, Mike Gallagher, coming up at 9, only on AM 560, The Answer.
Good morning, Dan and Amy. So it happened in spite of themselves. Republicans moved, Senate Republicans in particular, moved their tax cut plan out of the Senate. And now they'll have to conference with the House to agree on the differences between the two pieces of legislation. And
yeah, it was early morning Saturday that they decided. And the one holdout, of course,
Bob Corker.
Yeah, he's a deficit hawk all of a sudden and worried about, what the future looks like for his children and his grandchildren. Or is that a little payback for President Trump? That's what I think it was.
Yeah, I'm sure that's an element of it. Mitch McConnell, Senate Majority Leader, did the Sunday Talkies, including Face the Nation, where he made his case for the importance of the plan that Senate Republicans passed, the positive impact it will have on growth and middle-income families as household budgets.
Every segment of taxpayers, every category of taxpayers, on average, gets significant relief. The average family of four, $2,200 a year. You mentioned the standard deduction doubling, the child care credit increase. Clearly, most people, middle-income taxpayers, an overwhelming majority of them will get tax relief. And because of the business tax changes, it's much less likely that the job they currently have is going to end up in another country, because we are clearly uncompetitive in the global economy with the current tax rates. But John, I think this, coupled with the regulatory relief the administration's been providing the reasons the economy is beginning to pick up.
Now, there have been some process criticisms of Republicans about passing a bill to find out what's in it, sort of the Obamacare model of moving major complicated legislation, or you're writing amendments in the margins, handwriting amendments in the margins.
Did you see it? I mean, it's a 497-page bill
Right.
that they got 2 hours before they took the vote on it.
Yeah.
So do you think anybody actually read through that in 2 hours?
So I think there are the same process arguments that were made against Democrats with respect to Obamacare are applicable. I mean, they're fair in this case too, because I think something similar happened. Of course, you didn't have any Republicans stupid enough to say we needed to pass it to find out what's in it.
Yeah.
That kind of framed the Obamacare matter by Nancy Pelosi. But setting aside the process arguments for a second, because frankly, dirty little secret, there's only a handful of legislators that read any bill.
Okay. Do they have? Well, at least do they have their staff members like divide and conquer and read here? You read the first 100 pages. Do they ever do that?
No, it's not a book club. Most of them do it this way. Most of them say, what does leadership want me to do? What are in my immediate political interests as it pertains to my reelection? And I'll take advice and counsel on those two matters, and that's going to determine my vote. I mean, that's just how it actually happens.
Okay.
So I know we want to live in this woozy dream world where your duly elected representatives are thoughtful and deliberative and diligent. That's not this world. So that's why the process arguments are the least compelling arguments for me, because it's just sort of built into the price. I wish it wasn't that way, but that's the way it is. So setting those process arguments aside and legitimate criticisms aside, the substance of the plan and essentially, the broad outlines you have now, both from the House and the Senate, of their version of tax relief, is that something that you will review as a major accomplishment from by the Trump administration, as a feather in his cap, as a promise kept? 312-642-5600, turnkey.pro. Answer line 64636, turnkey.pro. Text line, you did have, there was criticism of it. I have criticism of it. But
which one do you like better, the House plan or the Senate's plan? Because I'm a big Senate plans proponent. I love it. I mean, because you can write off your mortgage interest. You can also write off medical expenses and student loans. And there's 7 brackets instead of 4. The House has 4 brackets. Yeah. What's your point of contention over there, Danny Pratt?
By the way, just for the purposes of people who live in Illinois in particular, also the Senate has the $10,000 cap on property tax deductions, too. So that's in there. It's capped, but you still are able in Illinois, the highest property tax state in the nation, you are able to deduct under their plan up to $10,000. So that wasn't eliminated altogether. There was some concern it might be to try and get this scored how it needed to be scored for a simple majority to be the requirement to pass it. You have supply-siders like Larry Kudlow. I'd vote for it. You should, too. This is the piece that he wrote after it moved out of committee and onto floor debate last week. Steve Moore, Art Laffer, Steve Forbes, Larry Kudlow, they're, semi-enthusiastic about it because of what they think it will do with respect to GDP growth, business creation, capital formation, and a rising tide, effectively. And you've seen the open letters. We've discussed them here from a number of economists projecting out 3 and even 4% GDP growth if something on the order of what the Republicans had proposed is signed into law. And we're basically one hop and one skip away from that happening.
So do you think it'll get done, though, before Christmas recess, December 15th?
I think this is done. I can't see a scenario by which anybody who voted for it would walk it back. And I assume the final product is going to be very similar. Is going to be
the Senate bill.
It's
or
going to
the
be the Senate
bill?
because
Senate?
the margin of error is nil there. And the last thing you want to do is, if just politically speaking, is make some of these weak-kneed Republican senators like Murkowski or Collins or McCain more weak-kneed by being intransigent on a particular provision in the House. McConnell, in an op-ed in the Wall Street Journal over the weekend, consistent with some of what you heard from him on the Sunday talk show, said.
He actually smiled on Saturday. Did you see it?
How could you tell?
He was like, instead of like,
Mm.
I thought it was a smile. He seemed very chipper.
I never really see. I can't believe.
I met him once too. The smallest
his
chin on a
teeth.
person I've ever.
Yeah, he's got
I'm
that.
getting catty again, but it was. Yeah, I met him face. My kids met him too, and they're like, "Who are you?" I said, "Excuse me, this is Senator McConnell."
Well, that's Senator McConnell.
Whoa.
Your kids will be happy to learn. Peyton and Eli, I'm sure they've perused his op-ed in the Journal.
Oh, of course, mandatory reading at the Jacobson household.
Our plan will help small businesses grow, wrote McConnell. That's why it has the support of prominent advocates, including the National Federation of Independent Business. Lower taxes will help small businesses create jobs, invest more, and spur economic growth. And then simplifying the tax code will reduce compliance costs and make it possible for job creators to reinvest more of their own money in their enterprises. It is very entrepreneur and business focused, both of the tax plans. In addition to that, though, McConnell makes the point that doubling the standard deduction and doubling the child tax credit means that a median income family of 4 could see a tax cut of nearly $2,200, which, that doesn't sound like a lot maybe, but median household income, I mean, you're making 50, 55 grand. That's a 5% bump in your pay on an annualized basis that you can compound if invest or put to some productive use. And so it's not inconsequential. It's not life-altering, but it's not inconsequential. And the real play, as they've sort of said from the beginning, is about GDP growth. It's really about, frankly, creating the climate for capitalism.
Right, but the companies that get these great corporate tax breaks, are they going to use that money, to grow their business and hire, or are they going to just pocket the extra money that they're going to save?
Yeah.
Right? I mean, we really can't control how people spend their money, although I try to tell people how to spend their money.
Well, what you
But
see
that's,
from successful businesses is reinvestment in their businesses. And what you see when people are incentivized to take productive risks is they take productive risks. And by the way, we've seen a decline in entrepreneurship and business startup over the malaise days of the Obama administration. And we're trying to kind of get back to that. You want innovative people to be incentivized to be innovative, productive risk-taking behavior. And one of the laments over the last 15 years, and it was Trump's lament on the campaign trail too, is stagnant wages. So yes, this puts a limited amount of money back in your pocket immediately. But if the growth numbers bear out, if you do see a resurgence of productive capitalist conduct, you have the innovation that leads to new job opportunities, that leads to rising incomes. And there is a continuum to economic activity. There is this dynamism that is not contemplated by the CBO, much less the Socialist Democrat Party in this country, and frankly, a lot of big government Republicans too. And what I'm talking about is what Kudlow and Forbes and Steve Moore, what they're thinking about when they look at this tax plan and the possibilities for it. So does it still problematic? Is it still too complicated? Is it still, does it do as much to flatten and lower everybody's burden as I would otherwise like? No, it doesn't. And it's because you have big government Republicans in both chambers. They're unwilling to cut the size and spend of government as much as I would like. And that limits what you can do on the tax side if you want to pass these reform plans, these cut plans, with simple majorities as they did. So that's where we're at. But I'm in Larry Kudlow's camp. I'd vote for it.
It's like a hot, steaming cup of information to start your day. It's Chicago's Morning Answer on AM 560, The Answer.
If you're missing teeth or even a single tooth, dental implants are a fantastic way to regain your confidence, your smile, your dental health. Hi, it's Mike Gallagher. You hear a lot of people screaming at you about dental implants. Get it done in a day, or we can treat everybody, or hundreds of thousands of implants. Look, successful implants don't come from an implant factory. What you don't hear talked about is skill, treatment, and installation. These are what make for successful lifelong implants. And that's why you need to see Dr. Norouzi Norouzi at Fox River Periodontics. Dr. Norouzi is the recommended choice of dentists that don't do implants. You need the experience, skill, and honesty that 24 years of dental implants brings.
This is Dr. Norouzi. I personally guarantee your happiness with your implants.
Call Fox River Periodontics, 630-232-7400, 630-232-7400, or just remember, implantsforme.com, implantsforme.com.
This is Dan Proft with 60 Seconds of Sanity, sponsored by Upstream-Ideas.com. America's strength is that she's a free nation. Our weakness is we've stopped defending the foundations of our freedom. Non-behavioral characteristics like race and religion take precedence over shared beliefs as it relates to who is granted entrance to America, to the extent permission is required at all. This in spite of the fact that there is plenty of identity diversity that occurs naturally within a global population that shares a common commitment to peaceful pluralism. The temperature in K-12 is approaching Fahrenheit 451 as school districts move to ban literary masterworks like To Kill a Mockingbird because the language may offend. A recent survey of college undergrads finds 1 in 5 believes violence is acceptable to silence someone who makes a hurtful statement. Private property is seized by the state if you refuse to participate in events that violate your religious beliefs. You make too little, you make too much. You don't pay enough. You didn't build that. You need not apply. You must check your privilege. You must use these pronouns. You can't use those words. As Thomas Paine wrote, what we obtain too cheap, we esteem too lightly. It is dearness only that gives everything its value. If we continue to acquiesce to those who would cheapen our freedoms, we will all pay dearly. Despite President Trump's repeated requests, Senate Republicans failed again to repeal Obamacare. If you're tired of calling a bureaucrat at an 800 number to help you navigate Obamacare, then you need a local expert on your side. That's right, your own health insurance mentor. C. Stephen Tucker, C.S. Tucker, from healthinsurancementors.com is someone I know and trust. He's a 20-year licensed broker who's been educating AM560 listeners on the Affordable Care Act for the past 6 years.
Thanks, Dan. ACA open enrollment is now only 45 days long. From November 1st to December 15th, you cannot be denied coverage based on a pre-existing condition. And depending on your income, you may find a more affordable plan. With narrow networks, even fewer choices, and higher deductibles, now more than ever, you need an expert to help you gain access to the best hospitals and specialists available. Call me. I can help.
Thanks, Steve. How can our listeners get in touch with you?
They can visit healthinsurancementors.com or call me directly at 630-674-1551. That's 630-674-1551.
There's no feeling like grabbing a seat in a comfy chair to look through memories in a photo album. It's so much more enjoyable than looking at a computer or the small screen of a smartphone. An album of photos will last a lifetime. They can't be erased or become victim of a crashed hard drive. Print your photo memories at oneclickpics.com, your online photo center. Whether they're for an album, a gift, or framed for display, you want the very best quality. You can get that from the photo experts at oneclickpics.com. OneClickPics.com is a professional photo printer. You'll be amazed at the quality of your pictures, canvas prints, invitations, or announcements. You'll see details in your photos you've never seen before.
Right now, buy 24 5x7 cards for only $19.92. Printed on one or both sides on 100-pound premium cardstock, including envelopes.
Trust your digital picture memories to the photo technicians trained in every aspect of digital photo production. OneClickPics.com. OneClickPix.com.
AM 560, The Answer.
All right, it's that time of year. We are in the thick of it, in the thick of our Food for the Poor campaign. We have a big, hefty goal this year. We're bumping it up. Last year, we raised food and food for a year and water for life for 2,000 children. This year, we're doing it for 3,000 children in Haiti and in Guatemala and in the Caribbean places that were affected by the hurricane. We're asking for a one-time donation of $50 or $40, $30, whatever you can provide. Make a donation on behalf of your well-fed family. All you have to do is go to 560theanswer.com, keyword food, and you could help. Just a little bit of money goes a long way in these countries.
And so that's the personal donation. That's the 844-862-4673, 844-862-HOPE for that $50 donation. Again, also the website, 560theanswer.com/food for both the individual donation as well as our business benefactor program. That's the program that provides businesses the opportunity to make a $2,500 tax-deductible gift to Food for the Poor. And in exchange for your generosity, we show our gratitude here at AM 560 with 40 60-second commercials for your business Monday to Friday, 5 a.m. to 8 p.m. on our airwaves. This is a value, the advertising package value, well in excess of $2,500. To take advantage of the Business Benefactor Program, you call our sales manager, Michael Mann, 847-871-1527. Again, Michael Mann, 847-871-1527. And we really rely on our successful business owner, operators, entrepreneurs to meet our marks. And again, as Amy said, this year, 3,000 children. We want to provide food for a year, water for life. 3,000 children in Haiti and Guatemala.
And we thank you in advance for your generosity.
You're listening to Chicago's Morning Answer with Dan Proft and Amy Jacobson on AM 560. The Answer.
Hey guys, Ken here from the hit podcast Today's Growth. Who would win a 3-mile bicycle race, an 11-year-old girl or last year's winner of the Tour de France? It all depends on the bicycle. It depends on their vehicle. Both on a 10-speed and the pro racer is going to win every time. But put the racer on a tricycle, and the 11-year-old wins every time. You see, it's not the driver, it's the vehicle. When it comes to generating revenue, it's exactly the same. If you have a job or a small business, you are riding a tricycle. You can only go so fast. If you need to make up lost ground, it's not going to happen on a tricycle. No matter how fast you pedal, it's simply not going to win the race. Why do many people with no schooling and no advanced degree often become very wealthy? Simple. They choose to only ride 10 speeds. When it comes to helping people create their next revenue model, both Forbes and Inc. recommend Income Store as a can't miss when it comes to putting people on a 10-speed. Could your household or business use an additional revenue model that doesn't solely depend on you? If so, you need to check out IncomeStore.com. That's IncomeStore.com.
Mike Gallagher is hoping America comes to its senses on sanctuary cities.
A city like San Francisco protects a guy like the Kate Steinle killer so he can be out on the street to do what he did. This will spur an even greater insistence and make the wall and make the elimination of sanctuary cities even more imminent.
The Mike Gallagher Show. Weekdays at 9, right before Dennis Prager at 11 on AM 560. The Answer.
5:57. Let's get an update on the roads in the Alarm Detection Systems Traffic Center. The latest in for Jim, here's Alverde.
Thank you, Mike. On the Eden, still smooth sailing, 19 in or out from Lake Hook to the Kennedy Junction. Kennedy in a 25-minute ride, O'Hare to downtown, back out half an hour. On the Eisenhower, inbound, we're seeing a 36-minute travel time from Thorndale into the post office. It's a half hour back out. Stevenson 45 in from 355 to Lakeshore Drive. No outbound delays. And the Ryan 23 into downtown. Outbound is fine. Outbound from 87th, the on-ramp is closed. They'll be reopening that within the next few minutes. Traffic is service of Indeed.com. Are you hiring? Join the over 3 million businesses that use Indeed.com for hiring. You can post a job in minutes and manage your candidates from an easy-to-use dashboard. Post your next job on the world's #1 job site, Indeed.com. Traffic answers when you need the most. I'm Al Verdi on AM 560, The Answer.
Chicago's Morning Answer with Dan and Amy continues after your official Chicagoland weather forecast and an update from Fox News. Let's get the latest with our meteorologist, Garrett Beck.
There's a wind advisory in effect for this afternoon to tomorrow. High winds with gusts past 45 miles per hour this morning through this afternoon. Today, windy and cloudy with a couple of showers and a thunderstorm. The high will be 63. I'm Garrett Beck on AM 560, The Answer.
53 at O'Hare, 51 along the lakefront, 51 in Aurora. The news is a service of Indeed.com. Are you hiring? Join the over 3 million businesses that use Indeed.com for hiring. Post a job in minutes. Manage your candidates from an easy-to-use dashboard. Post your next job on the world's #1 job site, Indeed.com. 5:59. Here are the stories we're following on AM 560, The Answer. Lake County, Illinois authorities investigating sex abuse allegations against the former conductor of the Ravinia Festival in Highland Park. New York Times says 3 men are accusing James Levine of sexual abuse. One of them, a suburban native, Ashok Pai, who filed a report with the Lake Forest Police Department last year. 2 are dead following a 2-vehicle crash under investigation in Will County. 1 man in serious condition after accidentally falling with his bike onto the Blue Line tracks on Chicago's west side near the Kedzie Homans Station. A Chicago man arrested and charged with transporting illegal immigrants after federal authorities pull over his semi-tractor trailer near the Texas-Mexico border with 12 inside. Robbie Gould, the game winner with 4 seconds left. as his 49ers stumped the Bears 15-14 here in Chicago. The Bulls try to end an 8-game losing skid tonight, and the Kings came back in the third to beat the Blackhawks. More Dan and Amy after Fox. WIND Chicago News Time, 6 o'clock.
President Trump attacks the FBI but says we'll make it great again. I'm Chris Foster, Fox News. The president went off on the Bureau on Twitter with its former director now coming to its defense in D.C. Here's Fox's Rachel Sutherland.
Chris, in a series of tweets, President Trump blasted the FBI, saying the agency is in tatters, and denied that he directed former FBI Director James Comey to stop investigating Michael Flynn, who pleaded guilty and is cooperating with Special Counsel Robert Mueller. The president seized on a report that an FBI agent was removed from Mueller's team last summer because of anti-Trump text messages. Comey responded on Twitter saying, "I want the American people to know this truth. The FBI is honest, the FBI is strong, and the FBI is and always will be independent." Chris.
Rachel, President Trump heads to Utah today to meet with Mormon leaders and speak at a state capitol. He's expected to announce while he's there that he's shrinking the size of the Bears Ears and Grand Staircase Escalante national monuments established by President Obama. A show of force in the air. American and South Korean joint military exercise is now underway. Here's Fox's Simon Owen.
Chris, North Korea had warned that going ahead with these exercises would take the Korean peninsula to, quote, the brink of nuclear war. But despite that message, the U.S. and South Korea are beginning a 5-day Air Force exercise. It's a drill that takes place every year around this time. Some 12,000 U.S. military personnel are participating. 230 aircraft are being deployed. North Korea sees the exercises as a provocation, and Russia and China are also opposed. Chris?
Simon, thanks. An 18-year-old turns himself into police in Riverside, California, saying he'd molested about 50 children since he was 10 years old. Joseph Boston's mother flagged down a police officer to take her son into custody for molesting 2 boys at a motel Friday night after their parents allowed them to go to Boston's room. Those kids are now in protective custody, and police are looking for more victims. Fox News, fair and balanced.
On AM 560, The Answer, your opinion counts. And we want to know how you feel about the news stories we're talking about each and every day. Make sure to vote in the M13 Graphics Opinion Express poll at 560theanswer.com. Listen for today's poll question at 10:30 a.m., 12:30 p.m., and 3:30 p.m. and hear the results each evening at 5:30. It's the M13 Graphics Opinion Express poll on 560theanswer.com.
I'm Jay Farner from Quicken Loans. The rate today on a 30-year fixed-rate mortgage is 3.875%, APR 4.05%. But choosing the right mortgage lender involves so much more than just a rate. Only Quicken Loans has earned 11 J.D. Power Awards. No other lender comes close to that level of client satisfaction. And we invented Rocket Mortgage. It gives our clients a simpler, hassle-free way to get a mortgage completely online in minutes. No one else has anything like it. And our people. Each one of our 17,000-plus team members throughout Detroit, Cleveland, and Phoenix provides absolute client satisfaction each and every day. So why would you go anywhere else to get your mortgage? Go to America's #1 online lender. Call Quicken Loans today at 800-QUICKEN or go to rocketmortgage.com for the best mortgage experience on earth. That's 800-QUICKEN.
Call for cost information and conditions. Equal housing lender licensed in all 50 states. NMLSConsumerAccess.org number 3030.
Famous conservative quotes, presented by Automated Systems.
Ronald Reagan, considered by many the founder of modern conservatism, said, "Without God, democracy will not and cannot long endure." What a perfect connection between faith and America.
I know you support companies that share your conservative values. For FDA-regulated staffing needs, Automated Systems provides top talent, from experienced quality control and quality assurance engineers to top validation and compliance experts. Depend on Automated Systems. Hiring the best is critical to success. ASI Resources are all degreed professionals with decades of experience in manufacturing, automation, and FDA compliance. That's why ASI is retained by all of Chicagoland's Fortune 500 life science companies to successful startups. For a staffing evaluation, call Laz at Automated Systems, toll-free 844-HIRE-ASI, or visit automatedsys.com.
This hourly segment is brought to you by Goldstone Financial, helping you become financially independent at goldstonefinancialgroup.com.
This is Chicago's Morning Answer with Dan Proft and Amy Jacobson on AM 560. The Answer.
Good morning, Dan and Amy. So over the weekend, Governor kicked off our year-long celebration of Illinois' bicentennial. You know, we were incorporated in 1818. So 2018 makes that 200 years, our bicentennial.
Did you get the card I sent you?
No, I did not. And I would
Really?
appreciate one for all that I've done over those 200 years for the state of Illinois. Hey,
It was an appreciation Hallmark card
I look forward to it.
for all the efforts you've made to
could be
improve the state of Illinois.
Probably a postal service problem.
Yeah, I'm sure.
Uh,
Government run.
200 years, hooray, we made it. Who would have thunk it? The question is, are we keeping our intergenerational contract at present with our ancestors and our progeny? You know, the intergenerational contract that maintains the viability of an organization or community estate, that you are good stewards of what your ancestors provided you, and you pass on good stewardship to your progeny. You know how that works, the interconnectedness of humanity. Are we doing a good job of that here in Illinois? 312-642-5600, Turnkey.pro answer line. 64636-DA, Turnkey.pro text line. Have we broken the contract? Before you answer, this news out last week, IRS data from 2015 to 2016. Illinois lost 42,000 tax returns representing 86,000 people and $4.75 billion in adjusted gross income to other states in the 2015 tax year. 86,000 people, $4.75 billion in adjusted gross income, led the nation again. Also, it's not seniors retiring to the Sun Belt, ladies and gentlemen, which is what the Illinois political ruling class would have you believe.
That these people are retiring and just want a warmer climate.
Right. It's actually, you know who's leading the exodus?
Who?
Millennials looking for jobs in Indiana and Wisconsin. The leading states into which people fled from Illinois, yes, Florida and Texas, Indiana, Wisconsin. Those are in the top 5. Leaving Illinois for Indiana and Wisconsin for the weather, are they? So, what do you say, Amy, as somebody with progeny, Peyton and Eli? We leaving a good Illinois for Peyton and Eli to grow up in? You think Peyton and Eli stay in Illinois?
Oh, no. They know about how corrupt the government is, our local government. They know about it. We have a Rahm Emanuel bear that Rahm Emanuel gave to Russell when he was born. And Russell said, Mom, why are we keeping that? I don't even want it in my room anymore. I know what he's done to this city.
That bear is probably monitoring his movements.
Ooh, I didn't think about that. But they were so upset about the soda tax. Again, I don't know even kids cared about the soda tax. And that's when they woke up and they realized we're getting ripped off. You know, Peyton asked, what's next? And I said, well, if we don't shovel, we'll get a $250 fine. If we park here rather than park over there, we'll get fined. I mean, it's just all a money grab. And now with these speed cameras, you guys pay attention, because if you're 10 miles over the speed limit, you'll get a $100 fine. But if you're within 5 miles per hour over, you will receive a $35 ticket. Because it's just all a money grab. Nothing's about safe. It's just all a money grab.
Well,
but yeah, they want to leave. Yeah, they're going to go to school out of state. I know that for sure.
Well, there you go. And when kids go to college out of state, what happens?
Some of them don't come back.
Most of them don't come back, and they're particularly not coming back to a state that doesn't have job opportunities in their chosen field of endeavor. And yeah, there's a few wards downtown that look like are gilded and look like everything is fine in the city and the state. Hardly. All you have to do is take just a perusal of the region and, frankly, the state. Go just about anywhere. Scratch below the surface of Bull Mish, and you'll see things for what's happening.
I just remember what else really bothers them about Mayor Emanuel in the city, because they couldn't open up a second Chick-fil-A because it wasn't Chicago values.
Yeah.
And they say, because we know the owners of the Chick-fil-A on Chicago Avenue, and they hire people who are gay. They're not anti-gay. It's just, they believe in what the definition of marriage is marriage between a man and a woman. But they don't discriminate people who are gay or lesbian. And they don't not hire gays or lesbians. And that was part of Joe Moreno's thing with the mayor, too. And you're saying, not in my ward.
Yeah.
Drag it over to Chick-fil-A.
Speaking on topic, the Supreme Court takes up that Masterpiece Cake Shop case tomorrow, oral arguments tomorrow, so we'll be covering that. But getting back to Illinois, because last night, State Representative Jeannie Ives, who we'll have on the show at the top of the 7 o'clock hour, formally announced her candidacy to run in the primary against Bruce Rauner, to run for the Republican nomination. And this runs concurrent with the most recent issue of National Review, in which Bruce Rauner is the cover story under the headline, Worst Republican Governor in America. From John Miller's piece, cover story on Bruce Rauner, National Review. The governor's offense was to have signed what may be America's most radical abortion funding law after vowing to veto it. The betrayal capped a season of defeats for conservatives, including an income tax hike, a big bailout of Chicago's public schools, and turning Illinois into what critics of illegal immigration are calling a sanctuary state. And by the way, on that last note, Brian McCann, the brother of Dennis McCann, who we've had on the show before, will be joining us at the bottom of this hour to talk about the verdict in the Kate Steinle murder case, as well as the sanctuary state designation here, as well as the lack of justice for him and his family with respect to his brother Dennis, who was killed by an illegal immigrant in Chicago. But that's just part of the string of charges against Bruce Rauner, which Jeannie Ives leveled in her speech last night, and we'll recount it with her at the top of the 7 o'clock hour. And it provides, potentially, it seems to me, an opportunity to change course or to start honoring that intergenerational contract I mentioned, and the Republican Party perhaps to have a chance for some ascendancy in this state. Or we can just, fall in love with the checkbook, be fatalistic about who is or is not going to win, who can or cannot win, and just continue down the same path of being the worst governed state in U.S. history. So I guess that's a choice that people have, and the March primary election isn't that far away.
What do you think Jeannie Ives' chances are? I mean, I know you're supporting her, correct?
Yeah, I am supporting her. Absolutely. If we don't hold ourselves accountable as a party, why should voters believe, that we would be accountable to them? The reason both parties' brands have been destroyed in this state is because neither one is accountable to itself, and thus neither one is accountable to Illinois families. And that's why people are fleeing, because they don't see a better tomorrow in the offing, and they don't feel like they have much self-determination in trying to affect a better tomorrow. So that's, as much as it is easy to curse the existence of Mike Madigan, of course, his domination doesn't happen without the combination of Republican incompetence and complicity. And he's enjoyed both for far too long, and that's why people are sick and tired of it. I know I am. I know Jeannie Ives is. That's why she's running against him. That's why I'm supporting her. That's why I'm backing a candidate against the House Republican leader, Jim Durkin, in the western suburbs.
You can't do that.
Oh, it's done. It's happening in real time.
It's a petition's been filed.
Well, yeah,
it's submitted, so it's a done deal.
And so I mean, that's the choice. So I go back to people who are kind of have one foot out the door. There's a lot of Twitter action about this new IRS data and what it means, and people sharing their stories about why they exited, where they exited, or what their plan is to exit. But as long as you're here, you might as well fight. You might as well try and do something important or be part of something important. Or you can just kind of, lay back and be satisfied or disgruntled, but either way, just take what you get. I don't want to take what I get. Then I'm just part of keeping the same people in power in both my party and the other one. How's that going?
Tom in Deer Park, you're on Chicago's Morning Answer.
Yeah, Dan, in regards to what you're talking about, I had this thought yesterday, and it had to do being at Mass with the youth group and the next generation of Illinoisans and getting out there. And I want to ask you if I'm personalizing this too much. I couldn't help but think of the issue you're discussing about high taxes and the inability for families to stay here. Maybe some can, a lot can't. And of those that can't, the people that have put this in place, I know it's institutional and systemic, but I think of one guy, Mike Madigan, a Catholic, and another guy, Ed Burke, a Catholic.
Oh, yeah, good Catholics.
And, well, and again, I don't want to over-personalize this, but these guys, they espouse this on one hand, how they do things politically, what they do things personally. They get a lot of face time in different endeavors, but they're destroying the state. And then do you understand what I'm saying? And am I over-personalizing it with these two guys?
No, but I mean, so those are just a couple of iterations of the problem. The problem is a cultural one, and they're representatives of this kleptocratic culture, the two gentlemen you named, and we could add many more to the list in both parties. By the way, who's Ed Burke? Ed Burke is writing checks to Jim Durkin, the House Republican leader. I mean, this is what I'm talking about. Yeah, Ed Burke is right. He wrote a check to Jim Durkin, the House Republican leader. The incestuous nature of it, the combine, as John Cass calls it. The whole point of this is those guys don't really care. I mean, Madigan wants to be in charge. Jim Durkin, the Republicans, for at least since Lee Daniels and Pate Phillip in the 90s, when I cut my teeth, they actually wanted to be in charge. These Republicans of the last 15 years, since this century, basically, they don't care if they're in charge. They just want to make sure they can still have a little title and be self-important, but also leverage their title and their little self-important office for private gain. So Mike Madigan, we all focus on Mike Madigan and making untold millions as a property tax appeals attorney, that inherent conflict while writing property tax law. Ed Burke, the same thing. I mean, Ed Burke's conflicted 8 ways from Sunday on all of his business interests. But yeah, those are good examples of it. But what's the difference between them and Jim Durkin leveraging his office to encourage municipalities to go deeper into debt because that's legal business on bonds for his law firm? I mean, it's just a matter of degree. It's not a matter of kind. They're just better at leveraging their office for more money than Republicans doing the same thing. And, oh, by the way, taking their cues from Madigan and Cullerton and the Chicago power structure in so doing. How does 1/3 of the caucus, the House Republican caucus, vote for a tax increase in July, which is what happened? Those are sharpening the lines of distinction between the two parties. No, and to hear the establishment talk about it, to hear Bruce Rauner talk about it, it's a shoulder shrug. That's too bad. Boy, I wish that didn't happen. It's theater. This is and then you get from the Republicans, and I just experienced this over the weekend in Lake County, where I got all across with the Lake County chairman. Don't care. Tired of it. We have these phony, disingenuous conversations that are supposed to be so civil, and we're all on the same side, and everybody gets validated. You're doing a great job, and you're working hard, and everybody's working hard. Well, maybe people are working hard. We're not particularly working smart, because we've been saying the same thing and offering the same thing since my first race in this state, which was a 1994 cycle when I ran a campaign for a guy running for state rep on the North Shore. The same exact thing. So why do you get the same exact thing from the Democrats? Because Republicans say the same thing and Democrats know how this turns out. You want to rerun the same show cycle after cycle? Madigan and Cullerton and the crew are happy to do it because it's a guaranteed victory. And that's what Rauner is offering based on his performance. Forget his, cheap bellicose rhetoric, his cheap, outsider rhetoric. Look at what he's done. And it's the same thing with the leadership of the House and Senate Republicans. And so you either decide that you don't care about your home value, and you don't care about the remainder of your time in Illinois, and you're just going to sit back and be punished from every possible angle, and you're just going to throw up your hands and say, the hell with it, whatever. Or that you do, and you're going to pay a modicum more attention and offer a modicum more engagement than you have to this point, and change out some of these people starting at the top. That to me is the choice. Is that fair, Tom?
Yeah, well, It's very fair and very well laid out as usual, as what I would expect. I guess it's up to the electorate to do their job. I hope we're paying attention.
Thanks, Tom. Jim in Sheboygan.
Dan, I listen to you, and it just excites me. Amy, do it for the kids. Encourage Dan to run for office again. And several weeks ago, Dan, somebody offered you a campaign contribution, whatever that is. I'll double it. Amy, encourage them. Do it for the kids.
All right.
Do it for the babies.
Thanks for the call, Jim. You make that check for $10 million out to Dan Proft personally. I promise.
$10 million? Oh, then
I promise I'll put it in my campaign fund when I move to North Carolina.
La 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 ka-ching.
If you're talking about it, Dan and Amy are talking about it. It's Chicago's Morning Answer on AM 560. The Answer.
Okay, that sounds good. Coming up next on Chicago's Morning Answer, Dan.
Well, you could do the weather right now because it's 6:20, not 6:30, and then we could do food for the poor, and then we're going to talk to Brian McCann about sanctuary state legislation and the Steinle verdict.
Exactly.
Yes.
Forecast for today, and this is going to be a wild weather day, folks, so get ready. 53 degrees right now at O'Hare, going up to a high of 63 degrees, but we will have a wind advisory kick in here around 3 o'clock this afternoon, and we do have a couple of showers in the area right now. A thunderstorm is likely. Tonight, very windy, and the temperature is going to slowly drop to 36 degrees. And then tomorrow when you wake up, wow, get out that winter gear. It's going to be windy, some sun, some clouds, but a high only in the mid to upper 30s. Let's get into the Alarm Detection Systems Traffic Center. Al Verde in for Jim Talamonte.
Thanks, Amy. Dan, on the Edens, some delays now. 27 in from Lake Cook to the Kennedy Junction. Only 20 back out to Lake Cook. The Kennedy Inn is 31, O'Hare to downtown, but 42 on the way back out to O'Hare. And Eisenhower in 38 from Thorndale to the post office, just 33 outbound. Stevenson is 44 into Lakeshore Drive, no delays out to 355. Dan Ryan 24 in from 95th to downtown. Express lanes inbound back up from 31st to the Stevenson. Outbound is wide open. Bishop Ford inbound heavy from 111th to the Ryan. That's a 27-minute trip in. Still no delays on Lakeshore Drive. On the Tri-State, northbound jams up between the Reagan and the Eisenhower. The Adams, eastbound, very heavy between the Tri-State and the River Road Toll Plaza. No delays to report on the Reagan or Veterans Memorial. Route 53 looks good. Same for 80, 94, 94, and 65 in Indiana. I'm Al Verde in the Alarm Detection Systems Traffic Center.
Hey guys, listen up because I have some big news that'll blow you away. Your wife or girlfriend will be easy to shop for this Christmas. That's right. You heard me, because Pajamagram is taking your holiday worries away with the world's softest flannel pajamas. The last minute runs to the mall, those days are over. This year, get her what you know she wants. Huggable, snuggable, flannel sleepwear. The world's softest flannel pajamas are available exclusively at Pajamagram.com. The comfort experts at Pajamagram have reinvented flannel with a refined feel that's softer than a bunny, cozier than cashmere, and sexier than silk. If she's never had the world's softest experience, she's in for a Christmas treat with a smooth brush texture and premium lightweight warmth. Woo! Visit Pajamagram.com today for your most confident Christmas gift ever. The world's softest flannel pajamas. Plus, you don't even have to wrap because every Pajamagram includes free gift packaging and Christmas Day delivery, guaranteed. So go to Pajamagram.com or call 1-800-GIVE-PJs and tell them Dan and Amy sent you.
Balance of Nature's fruits and veggies.
I do feel better, and my MS, I used to be right-handed, and now all my fine motor skills are gone. I can't write, and I cannot use knives. I can't, cut and cook. So then I got my husband's Balance of Nature books out, and I'm like, oh, my God, all the food that I'm supposed to be eating is stuff that's in these pills. So it's easier for me to take a pill because I can't chop up some things, and I can't, I just can't do that for myself. That's why I started doing this, too, and I do have more energy that's working and helping me.
What are you waiting for? Good health is only a phone call away. Don't miss your opportunity to get a free month's supply of Balance of Nature. Call 1-800-2468-751. That's 1-800-2468-751. Or go online to balanceofnature.com.
Use promo code Chicago.
If you're missing teeth or even a single tooth, dental implants are a fantastic way to regain your confidence, your smile, and your dental health. Dennis Prager here. You hear a lot of people screaming at you about dental implants, get it done in a day, or we can treat everybody, or hundreds of thousands of implants. Well, successful implants don't come from an implant factory. What you don't hear talked about is skill, treatment, and installation. These are what make for successful lifelong implants, and that's why you need to see Dr. Naruzzi at Fox River Periodontics. Dr. Naruzzi is the recommended choice of dentists that don't do implants. You need the experience, skill, and honesty that 24 years of dental implants bring. Everyone is different. Don't settle for mass-produced implants. Did you know that there is a difference in quality of the actual implant itself? Some are made to last, and some aren't.
This is Dr. Naruzzi. I personally guarantee your happiness with your implants.
Call Fox River Periodontics 630-632-7400 or just remember implantsforme.com.
Point Blank Range and Gun Shop provides a clean and safe indoor shooting range and retail store. At Point Blank, associates focus on customer needs, whether they're an expert or new to shooting. That's why people are talking about Point Blank.
I can tell you, I was impressed as soon as I walked through the door. The employees were really helpful, very patient, and knowledgeable, too.
Point Blank Range and Gun Shop. Experience the difference this holiday season. ShootPointBlank.com for more information. Check out the Glock event this weekend at Point Blank Range and Gun Shop. All the latest Glock firearms will be featured and on sale this Friday through Sunday and only at Point Blank. Point Blank Range and Gun Shop offers a state-of-the-art indoor shooting range, an extensive inventory of firearms and ammo, and a supportive, knowledgeable team. The Glock event is this weekend at Point Blank Range and Gun Shop. Check out ShootPointBlank.com for all the Glock info. Some restrictions may apply.
Where did I put that wrench? I know I have the right size screwdriver in here somewhere. This garage is a mess. Trouble finding your tools? Time to get organized with StoreLock, the best tool cabinet you'll ever buy. And it's 100% made in the USA, close by in Kankakee, with a 55-year unconditional guarantee. StoreLock is a modular, durable storage system with dividers, liners, and layouts, all made to order exactly how you want it. Each drawer holds up to 400 pounds and is powder-coated in-house with any color you want. And it's fully assembled when it ships. You'll get organized fast. StoreLock can handle any size room or facility. They can do systems for airline hangars to fire departments to modular workstations for your shop. Anywhere and everywhere you need quality storage that will last a lifetime at a factory direct price. It's time to get your home, garage, or business organized. Call Mike the owner personally at 1-800-786-7562. That's 1-800-STORLOC. Or go to StoreLock.com. That's StoreLock.com.
AM 560, The Answer.
Tis the season for giving, and once again, AM 560, the Dan and Amy Show, Good Chicago's Morning Answer. I was going to say Good Morning, Chicago. That's the name of our new show, right?
Oh, it is?
Yeah.
Oh,
yeah, kidding.
Nice.
We've paired up with Food for the Poor. They're an international relief and development organization in the United States. We have properly vetted them. 95% or 95 cents of every dollar goes directly to those in need. And our goal this year is to provide food for a year and water for life for 3,000 children in the Caribbean islands, in Haiti, and in Guatemala. And we need your help. We've scratched the surface, but to reach our goal, we're going to have we need to have many more of you participate if possible. Please just go to 560theanswer.com, search for the keyword food. It just takes a few minutes. And help those in need. Again, we're asking for a one-time donation of $50. And but if you can only give 40, 30, or 20, that's fine. We thank you in advance for your generosity.
560theanswer.com /food, 560theanswer.com/food for the individual donation, as well as to enroll in the Business Benefactor Program, one way to do it. That's the opportunity to provide a $2,500 tax-deductible gift to Food for the Poor. And in exchange, 40 60-second commercials that run Monday to Friday, 5 a.m. to 8 p.m., our prime broadcasting hours, will be provided by AM 560 for your business. That's a advertising value well in excess of $2,500, well in excess of the donation to enroll in the program. And we're appreciative to recognize our donor leaders in the business community so far, including Elgin Recycling, Hayward HVAC,
TTI Medical Training, Chris Jacobs, Century 21 affiliated. Thank them for their generosity. Look forward to hearing their spots on our airwaves. And to join those donor leaders in the business community, call our sales manager, Michael Mann. His number, 847-871-1527. Again, Michael Mann, 847-871-1527. Or you can just enroll online at the same website where you can make a personal donation, 560theanswer.com/food.
Coming up on Chicago's Morning Answer.
We're going to get reaction on the Kate Steinle verdict from Brian McCann, a Chicagoan whose brother Dennis was killed by an illegal immigrant in Chicago illegally, in this country illegally, who is yet to get justice for his brother. And also ask him about the governor's race, the Republican primary, where you have a difference of opinion on the issue of Illinois' sanctuary state status. That's at 6:36.
But first, let's go into the newsroom. Let's say good morning to Mike Scott.
Amy and Dan, good morning. Good morning, everyone. 51 degrees right now. Winds are gusting out of the south at 14. The U.S. and South Korea flexing their military might in a joint air exercise. The 5-day Vigilant drill includes 230 aircraft. Thousands of troops are also taking part. North Korea has called it a provocation. No weekend break for the president when it comes to social media, lobbing a series of weekend tweets targeting old and new subjects, including the FBI. According to President Trump's personal attorney, the president knew nearly a month before he fired him that then NSA advisor Michael Flynn may have misled FBI agents. That, according to attorney John Dowd. Senate Majority Leader Mitch McConnell says he'll let the people of Alabama decide if Republican Roy Moore should take his place in the U.S. Senate.
Election's been going on a long time. There's been a lot of discussion about it. They're going to make the decision a week from Tuesday.
McConnell on ABC's This Week. Also, Maine Senator Angus King weighing in, saying no side is interested in shutting down the federal government, nearing the end of its funding this week.
They're already talking about another short-term, what they call a CR, continuing resolution, that would get us into January and escape this deadline of this week.
Senate Majority Leader Mitch McConnell also agrees a government shutdown would not be in the Democrats' best interest. Sentencing gets underway today for a former South Carolina police officer charged with shooting an unarmed black man in the back. Michael Slager pleaded guilty in May to excessive force in the 2015 death of Walter Scott. Giant drugstore chain CVS may be changing the way you go about getting basic medical care. They're buying Aetna Insurance in a $69 billion deal. The agreement announced yesterday, CVS says combining the two companies gives them a unique chance to give people access to high-quality health care at a much lower cost. Lake County authorities investigating sex abuse allegations against the former conductor of the Ravinia Festival in Highland Park. The New York Times reporting 3 men have accused James Levine of sexually abusing them decades ago when they were teens. One of those accusers is suburban native Ashok Pai, who filed a report with the Lake Forest Police Department last year. 2 are dead following a 2-vehicle crash in Will County. 1 man in serious condition after tumbling onto the Blue Line tracks on Chicago's west side. That man hospitalized after suffering major burns. A Chicago man has been arrested and charged with transporting illegal immigrants after federal authorities pulled over his semi-tractor trailer near the Texas-Mexico border and found 12 inside. And happy birthday to your favorite text message. Some of them could be 25 years old today. First text message was sent in 1992 when an engineer typed Merry Christmas on a computer and sent it to his cell phone. Robbie Gould nailed the game-winning 24-yard field goal with 4 seconds left. 49ers stumped the Bears 15-14. Kings over the Blackhawks 3-1, and the Bulls take on the Cavaliers tonight. The news, a service of SoFi Personal Loans. Get a low, fixed-rate personal loan from SoFi and start funding home renovations now. Terms and conditions, along with state restrictions, apply. CFL license number 6054612. 6:34 is our time. We'll have a check of traffic and weather on the way next on AM 560.
Dennis Prager fights to keep the good in the country.
I should lose credibility if I am wrong. Everything good is being warred on. whatever is noble and kind and fine and elevated. It is like the darker side of humanity, represented by our fellow citizens, not liberal, but on the left.
The Dennis Prager Show, weekdays at 11, right before Sean Hannity at 2 on AM 560. The Answer.
Braving the holiday crowds at parties and malls can also mean you're braving germs. Be sure to have the Exergen temporal scanner at home to make sure you avoided getting a cold or the flu.
The war on depression is over.
You win.
Depression, with all the drugs and side effects, the endless counseling, the frustration with life and relationships.
The war is over. You win.
In a few short weeks, your life will change.
It's TMS therapy.
Over 1 million people have been treated, and the results are nothing short of outstanding. It's FDA cleared. It's covered by most insurance, including Blue Cross Blue Shield and Medicare.
Most drugs and other treatments just mask the depression.
TMS treats the cause, so you can win the war with your depression. Remission or cure.
Depression gone.
Get a free consultation at one of the HPR centers in Chicagoland and Wisconsin. Ask questions.
For you or someone you love, safe, revolutionary, effective treatment for depression.
Let depression recovery begin. HPR centers.
800-604-0208. 800-604-0208.
Go to endmydepression.com.
It is 6:36 and a check of the roads in the Alarm Detection Systems Traffic Center, the very latest with Al Verde.
Thanks, Mike. Now, the Edens is really jammed up all of a sudden, especially from Niles Center Road to Montrose. Travel time is up to 37 minutes in from Lake Cook. Back out, though, just a 21-minute ride. Kennedy in, that's heavy, 47. O'Hare to downtown, 39 back out to the airport. The Eisenhower is heavy, 52 into the post office, 37 back out to Thorndale. And inbound down the Stevenson, 54 minutes to Lakeshore Drive, 39 back out to 355. Dan Ryan, that's 25 into downtown, especially heavy from the Stevenson into the Circle. Outbound, though, no delays. Bishop Ford, inbound at Sibley, a report of an accident, heavy from Sibley to the Steel Bridge, and once again from the Stony Island feeder to the Ryan, 29 in from 8094. Traffic is service of Office Depot Office Max. You've been taking care of business all year, so let Office Depot Office Max take care of you. Treat yourself to great deals on tech and furniture, like maybe a new laptop or replace that squeaky chair. You deserve it. Office Depot Office Max, taking care of business. Traffic answers when you need the most. I'm Al Verdi on AM 560, The Answer.
Chicago's Morning Answer continues next. Your official Chicagoland weather forecast: cloudy, couple of showers. Maybe an afternoon thunderstorm, very windy with a wind advisory kicking up around 3 this afternoon and a high of 63. Currently 53 at O'Hare, a shower and 51 along Chicago's lakefront. Your next news update is at 7, and Chicago's Morning Answer with Dan and Amy continues next on AM 560, The Answer.
This hourly segment is brought to you by Real Estate Revealed with Randy Barcella, Sunday mornings starting at 8.
If you're talking about it, I'll be talking about it. Dennis Prager here. Join me this morning at 11, right here on AM 560, The Answer.
Dan and Amy, in February of 2016, New York police officer Peter Liang was convicted of manslaughter for ricochet shooting of a black man.
Oh.
Jury in Brooklyn found Liang guilty in connection with the death of a 28-year-old black man who was killed by a bullet fired from Liang's gun in November of 2014. Liang, the New York police officer, testified that a sudden noise startled him, causing his finger to slip onto the trigger and fire the gun, and it ricocheted off a wall and hit the victim.
Now, that's weird because Kate Steinle's murderer, he, accidentally pulled the trigger. It ricocheted off the ground 80 feet into her back and killed her. Involuntary manslaughter for me if I was a juror, but he got off on that charge.
Yeah, it's interesting to compare and contrast, isn't it? Now, it should be noted that Liang's conviction was ultimately reduced to criminally negligent homicide. He didn't serve any jail time, was not sentenced to any jail time.
I'm sure he lost his job.
But that's secondary. Secondary is that's the sentencing is secondary to the conviction, and then we can argue about the sentencing. But here in this case, I would argue we have jury nullification based on the politics of immigration policy. And speaking of the politics of immigration policy, of course, this
matters in the state of Illinois, which is a sanctuary state, and the county of Cook, which is a sanctuary county, and the city of Chicago, which is a sanctuary city. And we have a number of cases here where families have been victimized by people in this country illegally, and justice has yet to be served. We mentioned the Tiffany Thrasher case in Schaumburg on Friday, and that the individual responsible for her murder is, I believe, awaiting trial. And then we also have the case of Dennis McCann. Dennis McCann was killed in Chicago by an illegal immigrant who subsequently fled after arrest because he was able to post bail.
It was a hit and run on Kinsey Avenue.
Right. And we've spoken to his brother, Brian McCann, who before, and Brian McCann joins us again now. Brian, thanks for joining us. Appreciate it.
Yeah, thank you. Glad to be here.
So, I mean, I know you and some other family members from families who've been victimized by illegal immigrant criminals have started an organization, and I wonder what the discussion was among you and similar situated people when that Steinle verdict came down last week.
Yeah, well, as you can imagine, the phones were ringing and the emails were in process all weekend with my other AVIAC members, Advocates for Victims of Illegal Alien Crime. And what we're going to try to do is pivot off of this, and hopefully it will be seared into the consciousness of John and Mary Q. Public. That's been our lament over the years, is that most Americans are sort of indifferent, perhaps even uncaring, certainly not aware of how serious illegal alien crime is. So we're going to ratchet up our cause. We're going to try to raise a few bucks and do some more traveling, and we thank you for inviting me, and other people are doing radio shows this morning as well.
Brian, for those of us who aren't familiar, maybe they missed out the first time we had you on, or they didn't read John Cass's column. Your brother was hit by Saul Chavez, who was on a. Just explain what happened that day.
Yeah, it was June 6, 2011. My brother was calling on a client at a Mexican restaurant. He used to insure. He's a commercial insurance guy. As he was crossing Kedzie Avenue, not far from that famous monument up there, Chavez was seriously inebriated and hit him and dragged him about a city block, and my brother died a violent death. A Good Samaritan, off-duty cop, apprehended him, and Chavez was brought in. He was arraigned, and we were assured by the Cook County prosecutor that not to worry about bail because of something called a detainer, which was explained to us at the time, so we were somewhat comforted that he would receive justice. Little did we know that soon to be the next congressman, Chuy Garcia, was working tirelessly with Preckwinkle to fashion an ordinance to make the county sanctuary, which it did in September of 2011, and Mr. Chavez's brother posted the necessary $25,000 in cash, I might add, and Chavez fled, and he's alive and well driving a truck in Mexico.
And so I remember when we talked to you about the sanctuary state legislation to codify this policy that the city and the county adopted at the state level. You and other families who've been victimized wanted to speak to the governor about it before he made his decision, ultimately, which was to sign it. And the governor had publicly promised you, or I think he had promised you, that he would speak to you. And I wonder if that conversation ever happened.
Never did. He promised us in front of about, 20 million people on Fox News that night. Brett Baer was in town.
That's right.
And so I thought, well, that should offer some leverage. But no, he never reached out to us. He did say he talks to lots of families, but we suspect he talked more to families from the other side than from us. Judicial Watch, by the way, is trying to sue for documents on that. I don't know if they'll ever get anywhere. They're trying.
So, in addition, and the interesting thing about this, you suggest that you're trying to get kind of families to pay attention to this, residents of Illinois to get animated by this, and other states for that matter. And, when you look at the survey research, people wildly oppose this. I mean, Republicans and Democrats, this is like 3-1 against this policy. So people kind of viscerally get it. It may not be the thing that, animates them if they or someone they know hasn't been victimized, but they certainly get the logic of your position. And I wonder now if this is a time, because of that Steinle verdict, to try to focus people's attention on their legislators and put pressure on them to consider a repeal of the legislation Governor Rauner signed.
Well, I talked to a young lady the other day. She's campaign manager, I guess, for Jeannie Ives. I think she's going to be on with you later this morning, I think.
Right.
Kathleen told me, yeah. So she wants me to join her on the steps of the jail Thursday, I think. I got to look at my notes. I guess she wants to announce a repeal effort if she's elected governor. So I certainly support that. Now, out in California, Don Rosenberg, who's part of our organization, he's raising money to try to do a ballot initiative. I don't think we can do ballot initiatives here, but
not as easily, right?
He's going to try and do it out there. So lots of luck for Don. But that could generate a lot of buzz too, because California's got more issues related to this than we do.
But you must feel betrayed by Governor Rauner. I mean, the fact that he didn't call you, said on national TV that he would call you, and then now we're a sanctuary state.
I mean, I'm an old student of political science. I understand. Ironically, I was kind of pleased with what happened. Aside from immigration issues, I'm a big proponent of vouchers, in spite of the fact that I'm a retired public school teacher. And when he slipped that tax credit voucher thing in there, I privately was pretty pleased with him. So, it's mixed. Politics is mixed. You never get what you want. But sure, betrayed, I don't know. I don't know how to respond. I'm a realist. I'm a realist.
Yeah, you're used to Illinois and Chicago politics, which is to say you're used to being
been
betrayed.
around this town for so long,
Would you just keep your expectations low? But I mean, your brother is gone. He's not coming back, and his killer is still alive in Mexico. Do you ever just want to go down there and have some street justice?
Yeah. Well, we're going to start a posse. How's that?
Yeah.
I remember I'm 7 years old. I remember the Westerns. We always wanted to start posses when we were kids. Maybe I'll start one. You want to join?
Yeah.
I'll be the Swedish member of your posse.
Yeah, we'll get the Wild Bunch together. Yeah.
Pancho Villa, horseback, and we'll have a good time. Yeah.
Do you speak with other families? I know you mentioned your friend in California. What about other families in Illinois that are similar situations?
I can send you the number. Eric Brady lost his wife Janine New Year's Eve down in Champaign, of all places. Champaign went sanctuary some years ago, and Janine was worked at the American Legion. Her husband's a veteran. And she was driving home New Year's Eve on Interstate, 74 down there? I think it's 74. She was going home, and this kid from Guatemala was on the wrong side of the interstate and hit her head on and killed her instantly. The Guatemalan was rushed to the hospital because he had injuries, and the stupid Illinois State Police didn't assign a deputy to keep an eye on him, so they released him that morning, and he fled to Guatemala. Oh my God. I've had radio stations down in St. Louis talk to Eric. You guys ought to talk to him. It's unbelievably tragic, very recent.
And here's the thing about this, too. I just get your perspective. I mean, mine on this is I'm a pro-legal immigration guy, but it seems to me that all the politicians say, and the Steinle case is such a poignant reminder of this. Oh, hey, yeah, people that are here that have committed violent crimes, obviously they have to be deported. And yet they're not, and they're deported, and they're deported, and they re-enter time and time again, and then they find safe haven in cities like San Francisco or Chicago, and so it's very difficult to have a thoughtful conversation about how we govern legal immigration in this country when politicians across the political spectrum can't keep that sort of foundational promise to expel violent individuals who shouldn't be in this country in the first place.
Yeah. I couldn't agree with you more. And how are we going to resolve this? God only knows. The Democratic Party, these progressives that run these cities, they're a different breed. They're a different coalition. They're not the Roosevelt Democrats that my mother and father and my wife's family was. It's not real pro-labor. You know, I'm Irish. We wanted to run the cities, but we didn't want criminals. I don't know. We didn't want to protect criminals, and we didn't want to protect alternative marriage schemes and all sorts of other. It's a different world out there, and somehow we have to punch through it and get people in Middle America to appreciate it. I've seen that data you mentioned, Dan. But boy, when you're talking to the average man on the street, they think Kay Steinle was an outlier. It was an isolated case. They really don't realize how serious this crime situation is. It's impossible to aggregate data because of sanctuary cities. I mean, we get
yeah,
data
right. Well, good point.
from ICE, but we really don't know. We're trying to do it on our own, and there's been well over 200 murders, killings in the last 12 years. These are some of our early figures, not to mention assaults, rapes, identity theft, you name it, all felonies. The public has got to get it, and we're praying and hoping that we can pivot off of this Steinle thing and maybe change a few minds and get this repeal effort underway. And I'll talk to Miss Ives later this week, and hopefully I can help her.
All right, Brian. Well, we appreciate you raising the profile on the issue. He is Brian McCann, Advocates for Victims of Illegal Alien Crime. How do you pronounce the acronym?
Aviac.us is the website.
Aviac.us.
And we have a button, and we need some money, so please help.
Aviac.us is the website.
Aviac.us is the website.
He is Brian McCann. Brian, thanks so much for joining us.
You
Appreciate it.
guys. Have a good day. Thanks.
Thank you so much, Brian. And he joined us on our turnkey.pro answer line.
Listen to Dan and Amy on your smartphone. Download the AM 560 mobile app today at 560theanswer.com/mobile.
I'm Lou Dobbs. CVS may announce the Aetna deal today. Auto sales mixed last month, and the Postal Commission sets automatic increases. Those stories next. Are you being intimidated by the IRS? Rapid Resolution Tax Group is a team of tax attorneys, enrolled agents, and tax professionals who've helped thousands of people with problems just like yours, and they promise not to let the IRS intimidate you. If you are an individual or business who owes at least $10,000 to the IRS, you can turn to them for help. Has your bank account been levied? Do you have years of unfiled tax returns? Let Rapid Resolution Tax Group intervene for you. They're accredited with and A+ rated by the Better Business Bureau, and they guarantee same-day contact with the IRS. If you qualify, Rapid Resolution Tax Group can work towards settling your tax debt for less, removing penalties and fees, and stopping levies and garnishments. Call the professionals at Rapid Resolution Tax Group at 800-601-2929. That's 800-601-2929. CVS Health may formally announce its $66 billion deal to buy health insurer Aetna today. Negotiations have continued for what reportedly be a cash and stock deal combining one of the largest drugstore chains with a major health insurer. November car sales mixed, paced by Black Friday promotions and strong consumer confidence. Several big car makers, including GM and Fiat Chrysler, saw declines, but Ford sales up 7%, Honda rose 8%. The Postal Service about to be given more freedom to raise stamp prices. The Postal Regulatory Commission proposing the price of stamps go up by an additional 2 cents above the rate of inflation, which would add a few cents each year to stamp prices. Please join me for Lou Dobbs tonight, 7 and 11 Eastern on the Fox Business Network. This is the Lou Dobbs Financial Report.
Upstream-ideas.com, premium content that complements what we do on this show each morning. Long-form interviews with opinion leaders and policymakers. This week on Against the Current, Jim Carafano, Director of Foreign Policy and National Security at the Heritage Foundation. We talk Flynn, we talk Saudi Arabia, we talk North Korea. Good discussion with Jim Carafano, West Point grad and retired lieutenant colonel. 60 Seconds of Sanity from yours truly. 2-minute warnings from Pat Hughes of Illinois Opportunity Project. Podcast of our Illinois Rising program, which airs Sundays at 3 p.m. on these airwaves. And then don't forget our sister site, defendhomeowners.com.
defendhomeowners.com. You want to check this out more so than ever, how property taxes in the state with the highest property taxes in the nation are destroying your home equity here in Illinois. You get a free property tax report on your home, which provides a lot of important contextual information you should have. And then you can also download a petition to help us get the necessary signatures for a ballot question on the 2018 ballot that would advise to reform Illinois' property tax system to mirror Indiana's. Be a massive property tax cut for you, returning your home equity to you. So for all the property tax information, defendhomeowners.com. Everything else, upstream-ideas.com.
Balance of Nature's fruits and veggies.
I'm doing great. I'm loving the balance of nature. I don't know, my hair feels fuller. I think my skin looks nicer. I do see like improvement, and I'm a very energetic person even with type 2 diabetes and everything. I always feel pretty good. So this is really, I think I even have more energy on this, which is great. You know, some products are, just phony products, and they just tell you. But the people from Balance of Nature, when you hear, like I listen to the radio show so many times, and I'm like, what am I waiting for? Like, I should just try it.
What are you waiting for? Good health is only a phone call away. Don't miss your opportunity to get a free month supply of Balance of Nature. Call 1-800-2468-751. That's 1-800-2468-751. Or go online to balanceofnature.com.
Use promo code CHICAGO.
DS Arms is the factory direct outlet for firearms and accessories where you can find all major brands of firearms in stock. And DS Arms is an actual firearms manufacturer. For 30 years, they've been manufacturing custom rifles used by police, military, and you. Purchase your rifle factory direct and support American manufacturing jobs. DS Arms can also set you up with automatic knives, spare magazines, optics, and every accessory. DS Arms is in Lake Barrington off of Route 14 and Pepper Road. Call 847-277-7260 or visit dsarms.com. DS Arms, much more than a gun store.
Hey there, beer lovers. Let your freedom be heard. If you love freedom, patriotism, and the craft beer revolution, then Gun Craft Beer is the brew for you. You can purchase Gun Craft Beer all over Chicagoland. For a list of locations, visit guncraftbeer.com. And be sure to follow Gun Craft Beer on Facebook and Instagram. So salute the red, white, and brew by enjoying the freedom you can taste with Gun Craft Beer.
Hiring is important, but finding the right people can be a real challenge. That's why ZipRecruiter is obsessed with finding you qualified candidates fast. ZipRecruiter finds candidates with the right experience and notifies them to apply for your job. No wonder 80% of employers who post on ZipRecruiter get a quality candidate through the site within just one day. The right candidates are out there. This is how you find them. ZipRecruiter, the smartest way to hire.
To try ZipRecruiter for free, just go to ZipRecruiter.com/talkradio. That's ZipRecruiter.com/talkradio.
One size fits all has no place in your bedroom. Hi, I'm Christian von Rickenbach, founder of Helix Sleep, and we know one mattress can't work for everyone. That's why we created the only mattress built for you. Go to helixsleep.com, take our 2-minute sleep quiz, and we'll build your custom mattress and ship it to you for free. Try it for 100 nights, and if it's not the best sleep you've ever had, we'll pick it up and give you your money back. Go to helixsleep.com/talkradio right now, and we'll give you $50 towards your custom mattress. That's helixsleep.com/talkradio.
AM 560, The Answer.
Chestnuts roasting on an open fire.
All right, we've got our Food for the Poor 2017 campaign. Our goal, to provide food for a year, water for life for 3,000 kids in Haiti and Guatemala. Here's how you can help. Like some other enlightened business leaders at Elgin Recycling, Hayward HVAC, TTI Medical Training, Chris Jacobs, Century 21 affiliated, who've joined our Business Benefactor Program. This works thusly: $2,500 tax-deductible gift to Food for the Poor, and in exchange, we'll provide 40 60-second commercials for your business that run Monday to Friday, 5 a.m. to 8 p.m., our prime broadcasting day. On these airwaves, call sales manager Michael Mann directly to enroll, 847-871-1527. Again, 847-871-1527. Or you can just enroll online, 560theanswer.com/food.
And we really need your help to make our goal. And I know I've always said that, we should take care of the people God puts in your life. And I've met so many of these Haitians. I've seen how Food for the Poor directly benefits them and helps them. There's no government in Haiti. They take care of the people in need, and there is a lot of need in Haiti, in Guatemala, in places like the Caribbean that have been ravaged by the hurricane. So please donate if you can. Make a personal donation by going to 560theanswer.com. Search for the keyword food. Coming up on Chicago's Morning Answer, she's ready to take on the incumbent. Jeannie Ives joins us. But first, let's go into the newsroom and say good morning once again to the one and only Mike Scott.
Amy and Dan, here are the stories we're watching right now. Former Ravinia conductor James Levine accused of sexual abuse. Deadly shooting being investigated in River Forest. Chicago Fire Department donates $630,000 to needy families this holiday season. Robbie Gould sinks the Bears with a late field goal. WIND Chicago News Time is 7 o'clock.
A presidential show of support in the Alabama Senate race. I'm Chris Foster, Fox News. President Trump on Twitter this morning backing the Republican candidate Roy Moore with that special election a week from tomorrow. More from Fox's Rachel Sutherland in Washington.
Chris, it's his strongest endorsement yet in the Alabama Senate race. President Trump tweeted his support for Moore, saying Democrats' refusal to give even one vote for massive tax cuts is why we need Republican Roy Moore to win in Alabama, adding that Republicans need Moore's vote on illegal immigration, the border wall, and Second Amendment. Last month, the president weighed in on allegations that Moore molested a 14-year-old girl, telling reporters he says it didn't happen. And you have to listen to him also. Chris?
Rachel, thanks. Billy Bush was with President Trump on that Access Hollywood tape from 2005 talking about kissing and groping women.
Hey, when you're a star, they let you do it. You can do anything. Whatever you want. Grab them by the...
And Bush says, of course, that was the president talking, and there were 8 witnesses. He wrote a New York Times piece today responding to reports President Trump now privately denies that tape is authentic. The president said himself when that tape came out that was him, but it was just locker room talk. Congress needs to come up with money to avoid a partial government shutdown Friday.
Democrats say they won't vote to keep government running if those who came here illegally as kids aren't safe from deportation. Senate Majority Leader Mitch McConnell on ABC's This Week says
the president has given us until March to address the issue of these undocumented children.
Some Republicans are backing the push to protect the so-called dreamers. McConnell was noncommittal on whether there were enough GOP votes alone to avoid a shutdown.
Fox's Grinnell Scott. More pilots say they saw North Korea's latest missile test during a flight last week. Cathay Pacific Airlines says in a statement the missile was far away during re-entry and there are no plans to change any routes. Korean Air pilots say they saw flashes of light believed to be that North Korean missile. Fox News, fair and balanced.
In Chicago, we've had rain showers this morning, now 51 degrees at 7:02 on AM 560. The Answer. Good morning. I'm Mike Scott. Lake County authorities investigating sexual abuse allegations against a former conductor of the Ravinia Festival in Highland Park. The New York Times reporting that James Levine began sexually abusing them decades ago when they were teenagers. One of the 3 men is a suburban native, Ashok Pai, who filed a report with the Lake Forest Police Department last year. We get that part of the story from reporter Mark Mayfield.
It made the announcement Sunday night on Facebook. The alleged victim filed a police report with the Lake Forest, Illinois Police Department in October of 2016. Levine was the lead conductor for the Met for 40 years before retiring in 2016. He was slated to conduct several performances this season, however. There's been no comment from Levine.
Levine's been suspended from the Metropolitan Opera, pending an investigation in New York City. 2 are dead following a 2-vehicle crash in Will County. Eric Seeley was driving yesterday morning when he collided with a semi near Wilmington, Peatone, and Cedar Roads in Manhattan Township. An investigation is underway following a deadly shooting over the weekend in River Forest. Stephen Ward and another woman were found shot sitting in an SUV near North and Harlem Avenues. No arrests have been made in that case. Chicago Fire Department giving back this holiday season to families of fallen firefighters and paramedics. Captain Anthony Martin presented more than $630,000 to hundreds of loved ones yesterday in the Mount Greenwood neighborhood.
Together, we're distributing $638,750. And I'd like to thank all the members of the community that have made this possible.
Fire Department's Widows and Children's Assistance Fund raised that money through private donations. Chicago Cardinal Blaise Supich in Puerto Rico, aiding in Hurricane Maria efforts. He was directed there by Pope Francis. Robbie Gould nails the game-winning 24-yard field goal with 4 seconds left. And the 49ers stumped the Bears 15-14. 49ers kicker, the ex-Bear, says getting cut helped make him a better kicker.
I needed to go back and look at things I didn't do well here to make the next team that I played for have a chance to have a kicker that was a little better. It motivated me. It drives me every day.
Gold nailing 5 field goals against his former team. Kings beat the Blackhawks 3-1. Bulls take on the Cavaliers later on tonight. The news a service of SoFi Personal Loans. Get a low fixed-rate personal loan from SoFi. Start funding home renovations today. Terms, conditions, and state restrictions apply. CFL license number 6054612. 7:04 and a check of traffic and weather on the way next on AM 560.
I'm Jay Farner from Quicken Loans. The rate today on a 30-year fixed-rate mortgage is 3.875%, APR 4.05%. But choosing the right mortgage lender means choosing much more than just a rate. Let me ask you, does calling the company with the best client service in America, with 11 J.D. Power Awards to prove it, matter? Does calling the company that invented Rocket Mortgage, the industry's most innovative, client-focused technology, matter? Does calling the company with 17,000-plus team members who are helping to rebuild the great cities of Detroit and Cleveland matter? Of course it matters. No wonder our clients have made Quicken Loans America's #1 online lender. Call Quicken Loans today at 800-QUICKEN or go to rocketmortgage.com for the best mortgage experience on earth. That's 800-QUICKEN.
Call for cost information and conditions. Equal housing lender licensed in all 50 states. NMLSconsumeraccess.org number 3030.
Balance of Nature's fruits and veggies.
Before I started taking this Balance of Nature, I had no energy. Since I've been taking this Balance of Nature, I have had the energy, and I just thank God. It's really been a blessing to me. Even my eyesight seems to be better because my other glasses I couldn't wear. It wasn't strong enough. But when I put the other glasses on, the one that was kind of weak, I could see so clear out of them. I said, what is this?
What are you waiting for? Good health is only a phone call away. Don't miss your opportunity to get a free month's supply of Balance of Nature. Call 1-800-2468-751. That's 1-800-2468-751. Or go online to balanceofnature.com.
Use promo code Chicago.
7:06 and a check of the roads in the Alarm Detection Systems Traffic Center. In for Jim, here's Al.
Thanks, Mike. On the Edens inbound, we're looking at 32 minutes from Lake Cook to the Kennedy Junction, 23 back out to Lake Cook. The Kennedy inbound, 57 O'Hare to downtown, 57 back out to O'Hare as well. And on the Eisenhower in, it's 53 to the post office, 45 back out to Thorndale. Stevenson into Lakeshore Drive, 57 minutes, 42 back out to 355. The Dan Ryan is 25 into downtown. Outbound, no delays. 57 in is tight between Halstead and the Ryan. Stop-and-go traffic inbound on the Bishop Ford from 8094 to Sibley from an earlier accident. Heavy again there between the Stony Island feeder and the Ryan. Lakeshore Drive northbound is stacking up between the Stevenson and Jackson. On the Tri-State northbound slows from the Reagan to the Grand Avenue curve, and the westbound 290 exit ramp is jammed up. And the Adams eastbound heavy Manheim to River Road Toll Plaza, crash right shoulder. Traffic answers when you need the most. I'm Al Verdi on AM 560, The Answer.
Chicago's Morning Answer continues next. Your official Chicagoland weather forecast with our meteorologist, Garrett Beck.
There's a wind advisory in effect for this afternoon into tomorrow. Today, windy and cloudy with a couple of showers and a thunderstorm, the high 63. Tonight, periods of rain and a thunderstorm in the evening with winds gusting past 45 miles per hour and a low 32. I'm Garrett Beck on AM 560, The Answer.
Currently, we have 54 at O'Hare, 54 along the lakefront. Your next news update is at 7:30. Chicago's Morning Answer with Dan and Amy continues next on AM 560, The Answer.
This hourly segment is brought to you by the Money Hour radio show, Saturday afternoons at 3 on AM 560, The Answer. Brought to you by Pearshell Financial Group.
This is Chicago's Morning Answer with Dan Proft and Amy Jacobson on AM 560, The Answer.
Good morning, Dan and Amy. Last night in Wheaton, State Representative Jeannie Ives, as anticipated, Republican from Wheaton, announced her candidacy for governor of Illinois. She is launching a primary challenge to Bruce Rauner, saying that this is the choice for Illinois Republican primary voters.
I choose tax-paying Illinois families. Governor Rauner chose the political ruling class. That's the difference. That's the choice in this election.
And it was a pointed speech that she gave, both directed at Governor Rauner and about the choice before Republican primary voters. Let me give you a little taste.
My son, the Army Ranger, and my son, the Navy pilot, could teach Rauner a few things about the difference between pretending to be a tough guy and actually being a tough guy.
Zing! And Ives also said that we were promised a conservative reform governor, and instead we got an Ivy League gender studies professor.
Oh.
Yeah, there were a lot of
Hello.
A lot of body blows in that speech, but it's time to level with Illinois Republicans and Illinoisans in general if you want to change the course of this woefully mismanaged state. For more on her candidacy, we're pleased to be joined by State Representative Jeannie Ives, Republican candidate for governor. Jeannie, thanks for joining us.
Well, thank you for having me on this exciting day.
And so you kind of played that clip that frames the race a little bit in terms of the choice between who you represent and who Rauner has chosen to represent in his 3 years as governor. Why don't you elaborate on that a little bit more when you say that Rauner has chosen to betray us, those are the words you used, and fall in with the ruling class?
Well, you look at his record and what he said on the campaign trail when we all helped elect him. He said he was going to do something, put in reforms, protect people. He's failed in every single way, from sanctuary state to taxpayer funding of abortion to bailouts of public utility companies. He has failed to deliver on the promises he made to Illinoisans, and especially on taxpayer funding of abortions, where he lied. He betrayed our party and our values. And so, Republicans take people out of office that don't do what they say they're going to do because we can't trust him anymore.
But Rauner,
so that's what this is about.
But Rauner is suggesting and spending a lot of money to advance this claim that he's the guy that's fought Madigan, and but for Madigan, we would have had conservative reform policies in Illinois back on the right track, and it's kind of all Madigan's fault. Don't blame Bruce.
Yes, he wants people to believe that he's been fighting Mike Madigan, but he actually instituted a very social and economic liberal agenda supported by Chicago Democrats like his friend Rahm. And so you look down the things. Look, Chicago Democrats and Mike Madigan never implemented sanctuary state-style bills. They never put in a tax on crisis pregnancy centers. They never did junk science on transgenderism. They never did public utility bailouts. So, look, his entire agenda, the things that he actually signed into law, were not even proposed by Democrats when they had complete control of the entire process.
Money.
So he hasn't been fighting Mike Madigan. He's been doubling down on the things that he's wanted to do.
Yeah, and I think a lot of well-versed voters in Illinois understand that. But the question is, this juggernaut of Governor Rauner, he has got a lot of personal wealth. How do you fight that? Because you know that he's going to throw millions of dollars into his own campaign.
And it's not going to matter. Governor Rauner has already beat himself. He has no base. He has no base, and you cannot buy back trust after betrayal. And so he talks about his field organization. Well, I'll tell you what. Here's what a field organization looks like. It looks like 16,000 signatures in 4 weeks. That's a good field organization. So he's not going to be elected in the Republican primary because no Republicans trust him.
And so one of the arguments is that Jeannie Ives can't win, and that can't win argument is both against Rauner because of his money, as Amy was articulating in the primary, and also because against, let's say, Pritzker in the general because you're too conservative. Address that.
That's just not true. 85% of Illinoisans believe that Illinois is on the wrong track. and you've already got the beginnings of a tax revolt, and of all places, Cook County against the soda tax. And you've got an entirely maligned property tax assessment system in Cook County, too, which people are onto that scam. And you have even Democrats calling out Democrats who have been in office for decades about that. And we're going to highlight the problems there. And people are going to listen to a reform message because we have no other choice. Well, Illinois is bankrupt. Chicago is bankrupt. And people understand that you cannot tax or spend your way out of this. J.B. Pritzker is just going to be a supersizing of all the bad policies we've had in the past.
That's a fat joke.
And nobody's signed on to that agenda.
So there have been rumblings that you are going to run. Of course, you made the official announcement last night. Prior to last night, has anyone from the Rauner campaign contacted you to try and persuade you not to run for governor?
No, they have not. They think that this is just going to all blow by the wayside and that they'll be fine. And that's a huge miscalculation on their part because, we constantly hear from people every day. New people contact us to help and volunteer with our campaign, and they're excited to have a real choice in the Republican primary.
You said in your announcement speech that Rauner runs from his record and you run towards your record. You want people to assess his record as 3 years of governor, your record as 5 years in the state House. So what is that record, your record?
Well, I absolutely. I want people to go back 5 years and look at the bills I filed. They have all been focused on giving taxpayers relief from this enormous tax burden that they have in the state of Illinois. It's about giving businesses the freedom to do business as they see fit. It's about standing up for the values of social conservatives as well. So, look, my record is, I have opposed tax increases while proposing spending reforms. And I have stood with business on vote after vote after vote. And Rauner has not done that. So, I would look at my record in terms of what I've done in terms of transparency, my votes to take on public corruption, and my votes where I've worked across the aisle with some of the most liberal Democrats on policy, even just this last year, from protecting property rights to protecting health care networks in the state of Illinois. I've worked with Democrats on some of the most far-reaching policy.
Are you willing to debate against Governor Rauner? And are you going to suggest that you do so?
I would relish the opportunity to debate Governor Rauner.
Yeah.
Do you think he'll take her up on it, though?
Well, he's going to have to do at least some of the debates, the ABC7, the channel, the TTW, the kind of the standard one, City Club. I assume he'll do those, but we'll see. If he doesn't, that becomes a campaign issue. Jeannie, so in the modern context, people may have forgotten because it's relatively recent. You have to have a running mate if you run for governor. It's no longer the lieutenant governor runs independently. So you had to choose a running mate. You chose a former state representative from the Quad Cities named Rich Morthland. Tell us about Rich Morthland, your running mate, part of your team, if you were to be elected, and what he brings to the table and kind of how the two of you work together.
So Rich Morthland is a farmer. He's a community college professor. He's a former state rep. He's currently serves in elected office in Rock Island County. And he is the salt of the earth. He is cut from the same cloth as I am. He is just as determined to stay here in Illinois and build his family and restore opportunity here. And, I just couldn't pick a better running mate because he represents a forgotten part of Illinois and a forgotten class of people. We are not just the suburbs in the Chicago. We have pockets of people that the Chicago Democrats, through their policy formation and what they've enacted in law, have forgotten to take care of our smaller communities, our farming communities, and those who really need help. And so Rich is going to help me on those issues. He sits on Rock Island, just across from the Iowa border, and he can testify to the outmigration that is happening time and time again as people just move across the border for better economic climate and better personal living conditions. So that's why we picked him. He's just perfect for this campaign.
And speaking of kind of regions of the state, thinking about the state regionally, it's always been my contention, just based on the numbers and where the population is, the Republican Party will not be a majority party in this state unless we are the party of suburban Cook County and the Collars. and that also goes for candidates running statewide. And so I wonder if you have a specific message. Maybe that's not limited to the suburbs, but that's particularly pronounced for suburban families.
So that's a good point. I mean, obviously the population is centered around suburbs in Cook County, and we need to, but we're an entire state. But look, there's nobody who's been hurt worse under Democrat policies and, quite frankly, Bruce Rauner's policies than suburbans who have the highest property tax burden in the state, and overall Illinoisans who have the highest property tax burden in the country. So suburban voters have been told that Governor Rauner wants to freeze property taxes. That's the wrong solution. We have to lower property taxes in the suburbs. People are getting forced out of their homes. They're leaving simply because of the tax situation, and they're fleeing the state over it because they can't afford their property taxes. You're renting your home from the government. That has got to stop. And the educate, you know what, the 32% tax increase should be put on the back of Governor Rauner, who failed to engage with those 15 surrender Republicans who voted for it. He didn't even talk to them prior to that vote. That is his tax increase just as much as it's Mike Madigan's and the 15 Republicans. And that all that tax money is going to do is going to filter back through that horrible education funding bill that he signed into law to Chicago Public Schools. Remember, 1 week that bill was a disaster. The next week he signs it, and Rahm Emanuel saying we got everything we wanted and more. Well, that and more comes out of suburban taxpayers' wallets. That's unfair.
Jeannie Ives, as a mother of 5, how do you think that could help you when you become governor of Illinois?
Well, look, I've learned how to say no.
Oh, yep. There you go. Remember, without rules, there's chaos.
Well, not to mention, you've got you're a family full of intellectual assassins as well as actual assassins. You mentioned a few of them in your remarks, but for people who aren't familiar, your husband, 2 of your sons, in addition to you, all military.
Just like most parents everywhere, I am very proud of my children.
Okay, well, but give us a little bit of background on your family for those who are not as familiar.
This is the we get to know Jeannie Ives section of the interview.
I know you're supposed to be...
and you're very humble. I appreciate, because every time, that's what I love about you and I admire, because your humility is to be admired, because you don't boast and brag about, being a West Point grad and that you have very successful children, but we're asking you to brag now. It's okay.
Yeah, brag on
You're
your
in a
kids
safe space.
Yeah, right.
Okay. So, yes, I came out of a small town in Vermillion, South Dakota, and I went to West Point, and I graduated there, and my husband did as well, and we served in the military. And we, of course, encourage our sons to look at that as well. And so our oldest son is ROTC graduate from the University of Illinois in electrical engineering, which is probably one of their most difficult majors. And I'm so proud of that man. And he is currently serving up in Alaska. He's an Army infantry officer, and he's the executive officer of a Stryker battalion in a Stryker company. And Matt has also got his Ranger tab, and he worked enormously hard to earn that tab. And so, I'm so glad he's through that, because when winter hits, I think about those Rangers out there, with 2 hours sleep, freezing, and making it through training. And then our son, Nick, also graduated from West Point, but Nick is a contrarian, so he cross-commissioned to the Navy. And he is going to be a Navy pilot. He's in training down in Corpus Christi, Texas. So, yeah, we're very proud of their service. And actually, I guess I would say that's one thing I'm very happy that President Trump is paying attention to, and that's restoring the military's capability to actually defend this country. And that was a long time in coming, because I know firsthand, listening to what my sons have been going through literally for the last 4 years, how decimated the Army has become in terms of its training resources.
All right. She is State Representative Jeannie Ives, Republican candidate for governor. Jeannie, where can people get more information about your candidacy?
Sure. They can go to ivesforillinois.com. That's our website.
ivesforillinois.com is the website. Jeannie, thanks for joining us. Good luck with the campaign.
Thank you.
And she joined us on our turnkey.pro answer line.
The stories you need to know to start your day. This is Chicago's Morning Answer on AM 560. The Answer.
Balance of Nature's fruits and veggies.
You know what? They do make me feel better. I really do like it has helped me a lot. It gives me energy. They're working out for me, and so I'm really, really happy.
When I first started taking it, someone mentioned my skin, and that was like within like the first couple of weeks, and I thought, wow.
I feel like $1 million. Really love the product. I gotta tell you, I don't no longer have those energy lows at 4 o'clock when I'm falling asleep. I am doing things I ordinarily would not do.
What are you waiting for? Good health is only a phone call away. Don't miss your opportunity to get a free month's supply of Balance of Nature. Call 1-800-2468-751. That's 1-800-2468-751. Or go online to balanceofnature.com.
Use promo code Chicago.
Signature Bank is Chicago's fastest growing independently owned business bank. It's a bank where relationships still matter. Signature Bank knows your name and your story. I'm Dan Proft, and I know this because Signature Bank is my business bank.
Hi, I'm Mick O'Rourke, President and CEO of Signature Bank. We'd like to wish you happy holidays from our Signature Bank family to your family.
I'm Kevin Vestuga, co-founder of Signature Bank. There's no better place to be for the holidays than Chicago.
And this is Brian Duncan, co-founder of Signature Bank. Whether it's ice skating under the lights at Millennium Park,
or my favorite, visiting Candy Cane Lane in Lincolnwood to see the Noonan House with the tree magically rising through the roof.
Or attending the annual tree lighting in downtown Downers Grove.
We wish you the very best this holiday season from Signature Bank, Chicago's business bank.
Signature Bank is looking for their next success story. To learn more about turning your business vision into reality, visit signaturebank.bank. Signature Bank, helping local businesses succeed. Member FDIC, Equal Housing Lender.
This holiday season, make the smart choice and switch to Sprint and get a new Samsung Galaxy S8, S8 Plus, Note 8, or S8 Active with 50% off your lease. That's right, the hottest Samsung devices 50% off. Plus, with Galaxy Forever, you can upgrade to the latest Galaxy anytime after 12 lease payments. And when you switch to Sprint, you get the best price for unlimited. $25 per month per line for a family of 4, plus get a 5th line free. That's 50% off Verizon, AT&T, and T-Mobile. You also get 10 gigabytes of mobile hotspot in HD, so you can stream your favorite holiday movies, music, and games. So stop by your local Sprint store, sprint.com/holiday deals, or call 1-800-SPRINT1 to learn more.
Requires 18-month lease and new line savings via monthly credit applied within 2 bills. Early termination results in remaining balance due after 1/31/19. Pay $38 a line per month with autopay. Excludes taxes, surcharges, and roaming. Compared to Verizon Beyond Unlimited rates, AT&T Unlimited Plus plan, and T-Mobile One Plus plan for 5 lines. Carrier features differ. Coverage and offer not everywhere. Subject to credit and $30 activation fee. Speed maximums, use rules, and restrictions apply.
Point Blank Range and Gun Shop provides a clean and safe indoor shooting range and retail store. At Point Blank, associates focus on customer needs, whether they're an expert or new to shooting. That's why people are talking about Point Blank.
I can tell you, I was impressed as soon as I walked through the door. The employees were really helpful, very patient, and knowledgeable, too.
Point Blank Range and Gun Shop. Experience the difference this holiday season. ShootPointBlank.com for more information. Check out the Glock event this weekend at Point Blank Range and Gun Shop. All the latest Glock firearms will be featured and on sale this Friday through Sunday, and only at Point Blank. Point Blank Range and Gun Shop offers a state-of-the-art indoor shooting range, an extensive inventory of firearms and ammo, and a supportive, knowledgeable team. The Glock event is this weekend at Point Blank Range and Gun Shop. Check out ShootPointBlank.com for all the Glock info. Some restrictions may apply.
AM 560, The Answer.
Let's do it. Let's make a difference this holiday season for those who are less fortunate. People who struggle every day to find clean water to drink, to find food. For Christmas, they don't want any gifts. They just want to eat food. Recently, I was blessed to travel to Haiti with Food for the Poor and meet some wonderful people who are so gracious, so grateful that Food for the Poor is there for them. And we've paired up with them again this year for our annual campaign. And this year, our goal is to provide food for a year and water for life for 3,000 children in the Caribbean islands, in Latin America that have been affected by the hurricanes, and in places like Haiti and Guatemala. We've properly vetted Food for the Poor, so 90% of all the money that raises goes directly to those in need. We're asking for a one-time donation of $50, whatever you can give. Just go to 560theanswer.com. Search for the keyword food, and it only takes a few minutes to make a big difference.
And you can also enroll in our business benefactor program at 560theanswer.com/food. The Business Benefactor Program, easy for me to say, provides an opportunity to make a $2,500 tax-deductible gift to Food for the Poor. And in return from AM 560, as thanks for your generosity, 40 60-second commercials that run Monday to Friday, 5 a.m. to 8 p.m., our prime broadcasting hours, on our airwaves for your business is our way of expressing our thanks for your gratitude. Call our sales manager, Michael Mann, directly at 847-871-1527, 847-871-1527. Michael Mann, our sales manager, to enroll, or again, the website, 560answer.com/food. And we want to thank the donor leaders in the business community, including Elgin Recycling, Hayward HVAC, TTI Medical Training, Chris Jacobs, Century 21 affiliated, who've already enrolled in the Business Benefactor Program.
Coming up on Chicago's Morning Answer.
The Flynn plea deal actually highlights the weakness of Mueller's case, according to famed Harvard Law professor Alan Dershowitz, who will join us at 7:37 to explain why.
And later, one of Mueller's FBI agents has been reassigned. We'll tell you what he did. But first, into the newsroom we go. Here is Mike Scott.
52 degrees at 7:30. No weekend break for the president on social media, lobbing a series of weekend tweets targeting old and new subjects, including chastising the FBI and raising questions about the special prosecutor's investigation into Russian election interference. Former Florida Congresswoman will be in a U.S. District Court in Jacksonville this morning for her sentencing hearing. Corinne Brown could face 9 years in prison on 18 fraud and tax felony convictions. The Democrat served 24 years in Congress. National Security Advisor H.R. McMaster saying the chances of war with North Korea go up every day.
I don't think our allies need any reassurance. In fact, what we're doing is continuing to work with them on all the key challenges we face today.
President Trump's national security advisor and a chief told forums at the Reagan Library over the weekend the threat of war rises each time the North tests a missile. Senator Mark Warner is predicting much more to be revealed from Special Prosecutor Robert Mueller's charge against former NSA head Michael Flynn.
General Flynn was only charged with one account, a major account, lying to the FBI. I believe means that there's many more stories that General Flynn will have to tell about his time during the campaign and during the transition.
The Virginia Democrat gave his opinion on CNN's State of the Union. Alabama Republican Senate candidate Roy Moore leading Democrat Doug Jones in the latest polling in that race. It's a CBS News poll show Moore leading Jones 49 to 43%. Lake County, Illinois authorities investigating sexual abuse allegations against a former conductor at the Ravinia Festival in Highland Park. New York Times says 3 men have accused James Levine of sexually abusing them decades ago. One, a suburban native who filed a report with the Lake Forest Police Department last year. Levine has been suspended from any contact with the Metropolitan Opera of New York City. He retired from the Met last year. 2 are dead following a 2-vehicle crash in Will County. Eric Seeley was driving yesterday morning when he collided with a semi near Wilmington, Peatone, and Cedar Roads in Manhattan Township. Chicago man is dead following a single-vehicle crash over the weekend in Aurora. The accident happened Saturday night near West Indian Trail and Deer Path. Meantime, an investigation is underway following a deadly shooting over the weekend in River Forest. Police say Stephen Ward and another woman were shot while sitting in an SUV near North and Harlem Avenues. Ward died at a nearby hospital. 49ers beat the Bears 15-14 at Soldier Field. Bulls will try to end an 8-game losing skid tonight, facing the Cavaliers at the UC. Kings over the Blackhawks 3-1. The news is a service of SoFi. Get a low fixed-rate personal loan from SoFi and start funding home renovations today. Terms, conditions, and state restrictions apply. CFL license number 6054612. 7:33 and a check of traffic and weather on the way next on AM 560.
The Joe Walsh Show.
The American taxpayer is still paying for any member of Congress who sexually harasses a staffer and then has to settle. tell your member of Congress to pass a law now that should read like this. Congressmen must settle out of their own damn pocket.
The Joe Walsh Show, weeknights starting at 5, right after Sean Hannity at 2 on AM 560. The Answer.
Get your truly free credit score and free credit monitoring from Credit Karma today. Credit Karma. Get knowing.
Warren Buffett's mentor, Benjamin Graham, said, "The essence of investment management is the management of risk, not returns." Hi, this is Joe Lopresti, president of Arlington Capital Management. I'm here to explain how we help manage our clients' exposure to risk. We're the creators of our proprietary proactive asset allocation strategy, known as PAS. It is designed to analyze important market trends and alert us to potential changes in the market. But that's only part of what I believe makes Arlington Capital Management unique. It's the care and personalized service we provide our clients that really defines us. We understand how important your financial goals are to you and your family, and we never take that responsibility lightly. It all starts by understanding the things that are most important to you. It's part of the Arlington Capital Management difference. To experience it for yourself, schedule your complimentary consultation by calling 855-471-5796. That's 855-471-5796, or visit arlington-capital.com.
7:35. The news is a service of Office Depot Office Max. You've been taking care of business all year, so let Office Depot Office Max take care of you. Treat yourself to great deals on tech and furniture like maybe a new laptop. Replace that squeaky chair. You deserve it. Office Depot Office Max, taking care of business. A check of the roads in the Alarm Detection Systems Traffic Center. In for Jim, here's Al.
Thanks, Mike. On the Edens, it's a 29-minute ride in from Lake Hook to the Kennedy Junction and 29 back out to Lake Hook. Kennedy in is heavy, 56 to downtown, 48 back out to O'Hare. Eisenhower in and hour 8 to the post office, 52 out to Thorndale. Stevenson is 59 into Lakeshore Drive, 42 back out to 355. On the Ryan in, a 26-minute trip into downtown, no outbound delays. 57 in, taps the brakes from Halstead to the Ryan. Bishoport inbound heavy from Sibley to the Ryan. And Lakeshore Drive northbound between 18th and Jackson is stacking up. Traffic's a service of Indeed.com. Are you hiring? Join the over 3 million businesses that use Indeed.com for hiring. You can post a job in minutes and manage your candidates from an easy-to-use dashboard. Post your next job on the world's #1 job site, Indeed.com. Traffic Answers when you need them most. I'm Al Verdi on AM 560, The Answer.
Chicago's Morning Answer continues next. Your official Chicagoland weather forecast. Cloudy. Rain showers have moved out of the area, leaving behind some very gusty winds out of the south at 15 right now. We'll top out at 63 this afternoon. Wind advisory goes into effect. Currently 54. Next news at 8. Chicago's Morning Answer with Dan and Amy continues next on AM 560, The Answer.
This hourly segment is brought to you by The Lou Bridges Show, a show about the truth of the foreclosure crisis. Saturday mornings at 8 on AM 560, The Answer.
Joe Walsh here. You know what? As an American, I just want to know what Russia did, and if anybody in America helped them. That's what we should all want to know. We'll talk about that when Freedom returns at 5.
Good morning, Dan and Amy. Holman Jenkins, The Wall Street Journal. Good piece over the weekend. The media's Flynn sanity. Nowhere was that more on display than on the set of The View on Friday. Get a load of this.
Oh, boy. Welcome back to the show.
Breaking news.
Oh, my God. Oh, breaking news. ABC News' Brian Ross is reporting Michael Flynn promised full cooperation to the Mueller team and is prepared to testify that as a candidate, Donald Trump directed him to make contact with the Russians. Yeah!
Oh, my God. I mean, it's almost insufferable.
I know we're not supposed to take The View seriously, but unfortunately some people do. But then this happened, much to Joy Behar's chagrin. ABC News suspends Brian Ross for 4 weeks without pay, effective immediately. There it is.
His source was wrong.
Well, there was a portion of the Trump directing Flynn to talk to the Russians
about working with Russians to defeat ISIS, correct?
Yeah.
Big difference.
That's an important detail. So there's that.
And then President Trump, too, on Saturday morning was asked about, are you worried about Mike Flynn revealing information during the investigation?
No, I'm not. And what has been shown is no collusion. No collusion. There's been absolutely no collusion, so we're very happy. And frankly, last night was one of the big nights.
I was talking about the tax plan passing through the Senate.
What about collusion among Mueller's team with the left? What about partisanship and politics on Mueller's team? Also over the weekend, an FBI agent at the center of both the Clinton email investigation and the Trump-Russia collusion investigation, removed from Mueller's team for exchanging derogatory text messages about Trump with a colleague. Oh, by the way, I mean, you just can't make this stuff up, honestly.
Yeah, they were anti-Trump text messages, and he also worked on the Paul Manafort case. So that might affect that as well.
Yeah, the colleague that Special Agent Peter Strzok was sending those text messages to has been identified as Lisa Page, an FBI lawyer who also was reportedly having an extramarital affair.
Oh.
Strzok and Page having an extramarital affair while exchanging texts about Trump. One's an FBI lawyer, the other is a top FBI investigator. This inspires a lot of confidence in the FBI, particularly after the Comey era. By the way, what Trump said about not at all worried about what Flynn has to say is the same thing Jim Comey said Trump said when Comey testified before a Senate committee back in May, saying that's essentially what Trump communicated to me, that if people around me did wrong, then fine, hold them accountable for the wrong they did. That was Comey's interpretation of a portion of the conversation he had with President Trump. So what are we talking about here? Well, let's separate the Flynn sanity from the law, and to help us do that is famed Harvard Law professor Alan Dershowitz, who joins us now. Professor Dershowitz, thanks for being with us again. Appreciate it.
Thank you so much. The Joy Behar jumping for joy is so typical today of the media, and so many people, they elevate hope over reality. Senator Feinstein did the same thing yesterday when she said that Comey has a case of obstruction of justice against the president. That's what you would like him to have, and that's what you would like for there to be. But the reality is that you cannot charge a president with obstructing justice or him exercising his constitutional authority to fire Comey. Even if he had said, stop the investigation, he has the right to do that. Thomas Jefferson did that. Franklin Delano Roosevelt did that. President Abraham Lincoln did that. Presidents are allowed to determine who to investigate and who not to. It may not be the best system, but under our system, in which we have a unitary executive, the president is in charge of law enforcement.
And you also offered a viewpoint on the implications of the Flynn plea deal that I think is different than just about everything we're hearing outside of maybe Andy McCarthy over at National Review, who's a former federal prosecutor.
Right.
And that Flynn's plea deal actually signals weakness in Mueller's case. Explain.
I think that's right. First of all, if Flynn had anything really serious against the president could have easily pardoned him, the way President Bush the first pardoned Caspar Weinberger, who was going to point the finger of accountability for Iran-Contra directly back on the president. The president had the authority, the full constitutional authority, to pardon Flynn, and Flynn was looking for a pardon. He was really holding himself up. His lawyer was saying, I'm going to the highest bidder. If the president wants me on his team, he can pardon me. If the president doesn't pardon me, I'm going to Mueller. The president obviously wasn't particularly afraid, because what Flynn lied about was entirely and completely lawful. Flynn said that he went to the ambassador Kislyak of Russia and said, I hope you will delay or vote against the UN resolution condemning Israel, the one-sided resolution condemning Israel. Not only was that legal, it was desirable, because President Obama had distorted American foreign policy unilaterally, without the consent of Congress, without the consent of the American people, and decided for the first time in modern history to allow a one-sided anti-Israel resolution to get passed in the Security Council. that tied the hands of the president-elect, and the president-elect was entirely within his power to try to get Russia to vote against the resolution that would have untied his hands. I wish he had succeeded. He didn't, but he gets an A for effort. So to suddenly turn that into a crime is, again, a distortion of the constitutional authority of the president and the president-elect.
Well, why did Michael Flynn feel the need to lie to the FBI?
I can't figure that out. I think he probably thought what he did was illegal. Somebody told him about the Logan Act. The Logan Act does prohibit any private citizen from negotiating with a foreign power. But the Logan Act hasn't been enforced in 217 years. And if it had been enforced, Jimmy Carter would have been in jail for negotiating with Yasser Arafat after he left his presidency and telling him not to sign the Camp David Accords. Ronald Reagan would be in jail for negotiating with the Iranians the delay of the American hostage release until the day he got to office. Jesse Jackson would be in jail. Rodman would be in jail. In North Korea. James Fonda would be in jail. Everybody would be in jail. So, of course, the Logan Act is a dead letter. And Flynn may not have known that. And so he apparently lied about something he could have easily told the truth about.
In response to that contention that, this doesn't get any closer to the president, it projects weakness in the case. The suggestion is, well, wait a second. They went from Manafort to Flynn, and now the next target is Jared Kushner, so he's just working his way up the ladder, if you will. What do you say to that?
Well, all he's doing is getting people for jaywalking, essentially, for failing to fill out forms, for not telling the truth to Congress. Now, those are serious matters, but they're not related directly to the president. I don't believe that they're going to be able to go after Jared Kushner. Jared Kushner, if he in fact told Flynn to try to get the Russians to delay the vote at the Security Council, did a good thing, certainly a completely lawful thing. And the reason, Joy Behar was jumping for joy is because if you can place these conversations during the campaign, it's very different than during the transition period. During the transition period, a president-elect has the right, the responsibility to shape his administration. And shaping his administration includes untying his hands. Barack Obama, as a lame duck president for whom I voted, was trying to tie the hands of the incoming president improperly, not unlawfully, not illegally, but improperly. I actually wrote an op-ed piece during that period of time praising Trump for trying to untie his hands and trying to make peace in the Middle East, something that Barack Obama had utterly failed to do.
Now, there was a tweet that we thought President Trump tweeted out, but apparently his lawyer, John Dowd, authored it, saying, "I had to fire General Flynn because he lied to the vice president and the FBI." Is there any possible obstruction of justice charge that can come out of this tweet?
No, of course not. Impossible. First of all, you can't investigate or charge a president with obstruction of justice for doing what he had the constitutional authority to do. You just can't do that. The best proof of that is what George Bush the first did. He pardoned Caspar Weinberger at a time when Weinberger was about to go on trial, and might very well have testified that the responsibility for Iran-Contra was in the Oval Office. And the president precluded that. And the special prosecutor, Lawrence Walsh, said essentially that ended his investigation. And so if anybody was ever going to be indicted for obstruction of justice, it would have been President Bush, but nobody even thought of it because you can't indict or charge somebody with obstruction for simply exercising their constitutional authority. To do that would create a constitutional conflict between the executive and legislative branches of the government.
He is Alan Dershowitz, former professor at Harvard Law School, of course, author of a book that couldn't be more timely, Trumped Up, How Criminalization of Political Differences Endangers Democracy. Professor Dershowitz, thanks as always for joining us and for your legal insights. Appreciate it.
My pleasure. Thank you.
You're the best. And he joined us on our turnkey.pro answer line.
Connect with Dan and Amy using the AM560 mobile app. Download it today at 560theanswer.com/mobile.
Mike Flynn was in the White House for just 25 days, too, so keep that in mind. Today, well, it's warm, but it's wet, and it's going to be windy. WWW. 53 degrees right now at O'Hare, going up to a high of 63 degrees. We do have a chance of thunderstorms in the afternoon, and a wind advisory kicks in at 3 o'clock. Wind gusts up to 45 miles per hour. Then tonight, the cold arrives, a low of 36, and then tomorrow, windy, some sun and clouds, a high only in the mid to upper 30s. Let's get into the Alarm Detection Systems Traffic Center. Here is Al Verde in for Jim Telemonte.
Thanks, Amy. Dan, on the Edens, it's 25 in from Lake Cook to the Kennedy Junction, but 29 back up to Lake Cook. Kennedy into downtown, an hour 10, 44 on the outbound side. Eisenhower's heavy, an hour 9 into the post office, 57 back out to Thorndale. Stevenson, that's an hour 4 into Lakeshore Drive, 42 to get back out to 355. No delays on 55 itself. Dan Ryan inbound, a 29-minute ride, outbound only 15. 57 in slows 107th to the Ryan. Bishop Ford inbound, backs up from Dalton to the Ryan, 45 minutes. That's really heavy from 8094 in. Lakeshore Drive southbound, Hollywood to North Avenue is jammed up 40 minutes from Hollywood to Monroe. And northbound between 18th and Jackson, traffic is heavy there as well. Tri-State southbound from Belvedere to Atkinson jams up. Northbound it slows 95th to LaGrange and also from the Stevenson to 31st. I'm Al Verdi in the Alarm Detection Systems Traffic Center.
Upstream-ideas.com, premium content that complements what we do on this show each morning. Follow the Logic Man on the Street segments, as well as our new series, Heart of the Matter, featuring professional women speaking collegially about the important issues of the day and their impacts on household budgets and families. My 60 Seconds of Sanity commentaries, 2-minute warnings from Pat Hughes at Illinois Opportunity Project, podcast of our Illinois Rising program covering state policy and politics, talk about the Republican primary for governor on this on Sunday's edition that you can check out the podcast. Also, Against the Current, that's our long-form interview series featuring opinion leaders and policymakers. This week, Jim Carafano, the VP of National Security and Foreign Policy at the Heritage Foundation. A lot of good insights from that former, retired lieutenant colonel and West Point grad, Jim Carafano at Heritage. And then our sister site, defendhomeowners.com, defendhomeowners.com. Download a free property tax report on your home to get a better understanding of just how devastating property taxes are in Illinois, and why they are so devastating, what they're doing to your home equity. And also download a petition to help us get the necessary signatures for a referendum question on the 2018 ballot that would advise the General Assembly to adopt the Indiana property tax classification system, which would reduce your property taxes, return your home equity overnight. All the property tax info at defendhomeowners.com.
The show ends at 9.
All of the other information at upstream-ideas.com. Yeah, it's a 1-minute commercial. I don't know. 1 minute. So I've used the minute.
Where did I put that wrench? I know I have the right size screwdriver in here somewhere. This garage is a mess. Trouble finding your tools? Time to get organized with StoreLock, the best tool cabinet you'll ever buy. And it's 100% made in the USA, close by in Kankakee, with a 55-year unconditional guarantee. StoreLock is a modular, durable storage system with dividers, liners, and layouts, all made to order exactly how you want it. Each drawer holds up to 400 pounds and is powder-coated in-house with any color you want. And it's fully assembled when it ships. You'll get organized fast. StoreLock can handle any size room or facility. They can do systems for airline hangars to fire departments to modular workstations for your shop. Anywhere and everywhere you need quality storage that will last a lifetime at a factory direct price. It's time to get your home, garage, or business organized. Call Mike the owner personally at 1-800-786-7562. That's 1-800-STORLOC. Or go to StoreLock.com. That's StoreLock.com.
You are about to hear from Dr. Douglas Howard.
After 20 years and tens of thousands of success stories, Balance of Nature is still the only pure whole food supplement available. Balance of Nature has served more than 500 million servings of fruits and vegetables. Don't accept imitations, copies, or substitutions. Our success stories are unique to Balance of Nature's fruits and veggies. You'll know you have the real thing when you open the bottles and see, smell, and taste real produce.
It is worth every penny I pay because they really have made such a difference in my life. It is making me feel a whole lot better.
Even my doctor thought it was a good product.
Take Dr. Howard's Health Challenge and find out how to get 2 free sets of fruits and veggies. We'll even ship them to you for free. Call now for details.
Call 800-2468-751. That's 800-2468-751. Or go online to balanceofnature.com.
Use promo code Chicago.
My name is David Hochberg, Vice President Lending at Pearl Mortgage. If you're purchasing a home, give me a call. A borrower called me after contacting the lender who boasts about having the lowest rates and closing costs because he thought my competitors' closing costs were excessively high. I compared loan estimates and the interest rates were identical, but our definitions of low closing costs were a lot different. Fact is, my closing costs were over $1,000 less than the lender claiming to have the lowest closing costs. When purchasing a home, you can either work with the lender who talks and talks and talks and talks about low closing costs, or you can work with me, a lender who actually has low closing costs. Then think of all the things you could do with an extra $1,000 when we originate your loan, like pay for the movers, buy a new computer, new TV, maybe new carpet for your new house. I've helped thousands of AM 560 listeners, but I can't help if you don't call 312-751-1333 or visit am560david.com. Pearl Mortgage, an equal housing lender, Illinois Residential Mortgage License 4358, and MLS 19186.
Signature Bank is Chicago's fastest growing independently owned business bank. It's a bank where relationships still matter. Signature Bank knows your name and your story. I'm Dan Proft, and I know this because Signature Bank is my business bank.
I'm Jerry Kerrigan, one of the owners of FJ Kerrigan Plumbing Company, a third-generation family-run business. Our trusted longtime accountant referred us to Signature Bank, and we've never been happier. On one of our first meetings, Signature Bank CEO Mick O'Rourke said, "You worry about running the business, and we'll take care of everything else." Since that initial meeting, Signature Bank has lived up to every promise they've made. The decision-making is local, the staff is consistent, and the service is outstanding. FJ Kerrigan Plumbing understands the value of long-term customer relationships, and we plan to be a customer of Signature Bank for a long time to come.
Signature Bank is looking for their next success story. To learn more about turning your business vision into reality, visit signaturebank.bank. Signature Bank, helping local businesses succeed. Member FDIC, Equal Housing Lender.
This holiday season, make the smart choice and switch to Sprint and get a new Samsung Galaxy S8, S8 Plus, Note 8, or S8 Active with 50% off your lease. That's right, the hottest Samsung devices 50% off. Plus, with Galaxy Forever, you can upgrade to the latest Galaxy anytime after 12 lease payments. And when you switch to Sprint, you get the best price for unlimited. $25 per month per line for a family of 4, plus get a 5th line free. That's 50% off Verizon, AT&T, and T-Mobile. You also get 10 gigabytes of mobile hotspot in HD, so you can stream your favorite holiday movies, music, and games. So stop by your local Sprint store, sprint.com/holiday deals, or call 1-800-SPRINT1 to learn more.
Requires 18-month lease and new line savings via monthly credit applied within 2 bills. Early termination results in remaining balance due after 1/31/19. Pay $38 a line per month with autopay. Excludes taxes, surcharges, and roaming. Compared to Verizon Beyond Unlimited rates, AT&T Unlimited Plus plan, and T-Mobile One Plus plan for 5 lines. Carrier features differ. Coverage and offer not everywhere. Subject to credit and $30 activation fee. Speed maximums, use rules, and restrictions apply.
AM 560, The Answer.
Dan, you have the list of business benefactors, people who have donated $2,500. The money goes to Food for the Poor, and as a way of saying thank you, we give you 41-minute commercials that you can voice, I can voice, Joe Walsh can voice right here on the station.
We've got time to mention a few. Hayward HVAC, TTI Medical Training, Chris Jacobs Century 21 affiliated, Elgin Recycling. We appreciate their business donor leadership with our business benefactor program. As Amy said, $2,500 tax-deductible gift to Food for the Poor. You get 40 60-second commercials that run on our prime broadcasting hours and our broadcasting day, 5 a.m. to 8 p.m. 40 60-second commercials. Call Michael Mann at 847-871-1527. He's our sales manager, Michael Mann. 847-871-1527. Or you can just go online to enroll at 560theanswer.com/food.
And we are our station, our ratings are going through the roof. This is a radio station you're going to want to be a part of, a morning show you're going to want to be a part of. And there's no better deal in Chicagoland radio right now than this. $2,500, and then we'll give you 40 one-minute spots. I mean, it's the best deal in Chicagoland radio. Again, call Michael Mann. Even if you have any questions, just call him up. He'll walk you through the process. He's a very personable man, and his number is 847-871-1527. 1527.
And we are mission focused here. Our mission this Christmas season, to provide food for a year, water for life for 3,000 kids in Haiti and Guatemala. Food for a year and water for life for 3,000 kids in Haiti and Guatemala, and it's $50 to do that for each child, essentially. That's how cost effective it is, and frankly, that's how dire the situation is in those countries. So help us achieve the victory of this over, frankly, death-inducing poverty, starvation, dehydration this Christmas season in Haiti and Guatemala. We would certainly appreciate your generosity.
Coming up on Chicago's Morning Answer,
we're going to pick up our conversation about the Flynn plea deal and ask former United States Attorney General Alberto Gonzales if he agrees with President Trump that the FBI's reputation is in tatters. That's at 8:08.
But first, let's go into the newsroom. Once again, Mike Scott.
A former Ravinia conductor accused of sexual abuse. Illinois school involved in a printable Martian Homes contest. An interesting story will follow. And the Bears fall to Robbie Gould and the 49ers on Sunday. WIND Chicago News Time is 8 o'clock.
President Trump says it's unfair. I'm Chris Foster, Fox News. The president saying a few minutes ago about his former National Security Advisor Mike Flynn pleading guilty of lying to the FBI.
Hillary Clinton lied many times to the FBI. Nothing happened to her. Flynn lied, and they destroyed his life. I think it's a shame.
He's getting pushback, meantime, over weekend tweets claiming the FBI's reputation is in tatters.
The tweet drawing immediate reaction from former Attorney General Eric Holder, who said the FBI is in tatters. No. The only thing in tatters is the president's respect for the rule of law. The dedicated men and women of FBI deserve better.
Fox's Griff Jenkins in Washington. Alabama's Republican Senate candidate is thanking the president right back on Twitter for his support after the president tweeted this morning, "We need Republican Roy Moore to win in Alabama."
So far, President Trump has not campaigned for Moore, but he's spoken against Moore's Democratic opponent, Doug Jones, on multiple occasions. Moore has been accused of sexual misconduct by multiple women. He's denied all the allegations.
Fox's John Decker at the White House. Moore's running against Democrat Doug Jones in a special election happening a week from tomorrow to fill Attorney General Jeff Sessions' old Senate seat. A couple hundred military planes will be flying around over the Korean Peninsula over the next few days. Here's Fox's Simon Owen.
Chris, some 12,000 U.S. military personnel taking part in a 5-day Air Force exercise with South Korea. These are annual drills, although with tensions high on the Korean Peninsula, Russia and China had urged the U.S. to cancel them. This as Hong Kong-based airline Cathay Pacific says crew aboard one of its passenger jets heading from San Francisco to China last week reported a suspected sighting of North Korea's latest test missile. The airline saying it was a long way away and there was no danger. Chris.
Simon, thanks. Fox News. Fair and balanced.
It is 54 degrees at 8:02 on AM 560. The Answer. Good morning. I'm Mike Scott. Lake County authorities continue their investigation into sexual abuse allegations against a former conductor of the Ravinia Festival in Highland Park. The New York Times was first to report that 3 men have accused James Levine of sexually abusing them decades ago. One, a suburban native, Ashok Pai, who filed a report with the Lake Forest Police Department last year. Levine retired from the Metropolitan Opera in New York City last year, but still had some major events scheduled with the Met and elsewhere around the country. Levine has been suspended. 2 are dead following a 2-vehicle crash in Will County that remains under investigation. Eric Seeley was driving yesterday morning when he collided with a semi near Wilmington Peatone and Cedar Roads in Manhattan Township. An investigation is underway following a deadly shooting over the weekend in River Forest. Stephen Ward was shot and killed while sitting in an SUV near North and Harlem Avenues. A woman inside that SUV suffered non-life-threatening injuries. A Chicago man has been arrested and charged with transporting illegal immigrants after federal agents pulled over his semi near the Texas-Mexico border and found 12 inside the tractor-trailer of Carlos Rodriguez. Robbie Gould, a game winner with 4 seconds left. 49ers stumped the Bears on field goals, 15-14. Bulls try to end an 8-game losing skid tonight, facing the Cavaliers, and the Kings came to life in the third to grab a 3-1 win over the Blackhawks. The news service of Indeed.com. Are you hiring? Join the over 3 million businesses that use Indeed.com for hiring. You can post a job in minutes, manage your candidates from an easy-to-use dashboard. Post your next job on the world's #1 job site, Indeed.com. 8:03 time for the AM 560 Business Beat. From the Fox Business Network, a service of Turnkey.pro, here's Carol Zimmer.
From the Fox Business Network, CVS, the biggest drugstore chain in the U.S., is buying Aetna for about $69 billion. The combined company will be a healthcare giant that will have a hand in everything from insurance to the corner drugstore. Insurer Hartford Financial Services Group says it will sell its life and annuity unit to a group of investors in a deal valued at more than $2 billion. Hartford wants to focus on its property and casualty businesses. American Airlines still scrambling for pilots. The carrier has hundreds of flights without pilots assigned to them in December after a scheduling error gave too many pilots time off. The number of flights that remain without a pilot in the cockpit is now a few hundred. With the Fox Business Report, I'm Carol Zimmer.
8:05, a check of traffic and weather on the way next on AM 560.
Larry Elder says the Democrats are in a tailspin.
I've never seen Democrats on their heels like this since the Harvey Weinstein stuff. Because what Harvey Weinstein is alleged to have done is no different than what Bill Clinton is alleged to have done. Hillary still has not been asked, what about you, Hillary? Hillary has never been asked that yet, but she will have to be asked that. These Democrats don't know what to do now.
The Larry Elder Show, weeknights at 7, right before Jay Sekulow at 9 on AM 560. The Answer.
I'm Jay Farner from Quicken Loans. The rate today on a 30-year fixed-rate mortgage is 3.875%, APR 4.05%. But choosing the right mortgage lender involves so much more than just a rate. Only Quicken Loans has earned 11 J.D. Power Awards. No other lender comes close to that level of client satisfaction. And we invented Rocket Mortgage. It gives our clients a simpler, hassle-free way to get a mortgage completely online in minutes. No one else has anything like it. And our people, each one of our 17,000-plus team members throughout Detroit, Cleveland, and Phoenix provides absolute client satisfaction each and every day. So why would you go anywhere else to get your mortgage? Go to America's #1 online lender. Call Quicken Loans today at 800-QUICKEN or go to rocketmortgage.com for the best mortgage experience on earth. That's 800-QUICKEN.
Call for cost information and conditions. Equal housing lender licensed in all 50 states. NMLSconsumeraccess.org number 3030.
8:06. Let's get a check of the roads. In the Alarm Detection Systems Traffic Center, the latest in for Jim this morning. Here's Al Verde.
Thanks, Mike. On the Edens inbound, it's getting better. It's 24 in now from Lake Hook to the Kennedy Junction. Still half hour back up to Lake Hook. Kennedy in, that's still jammed an hour 10. O'Hare to downtown, 44 on the outbound trip. The Eisenhower in is an hour 10 from Thorndale to the post office. 58 back out to Thorndale. Stevenson, an hour 4 into Lakeshore Drive. 42 out to 355. Dan Ryan, half hour now from 95th into downtown. Still no outbound delays. Bishopport inbound jams up between 130th and the Ryan. It's about 36 minutes in from 8094. Lakeshore Drive southbound, that's really heavy from Hollywood all the way down to North Avenue. 40 minutes from Hollywood to Monroe. And northbound Lakeshore Drive between 18th and Jackson traffic is jammed. 21 from 67th to Jackson. Southbound Tri-State from Route 21 to Eau Plaine is heavy. Northbound slows Archer to 31st and from the Reagan to Lawrence Avenue. Traffic answers when you need the most. I'm Al Verde on AM 560, The Answer.
Chicago's Morning Answer continues next. Your official Chicagoland weather forecast with meteorologist Garrett Beck.
There's a wind advisory in effect for this afternoon to tomorrow. High winds with gusts past 45 miles per hour this morning through this afternoon. Today, windy and cloudy with a couple of showers and a thunderstorm. The high will be 63. I'm Garrett Beck on AM 560, The Answer.
55 at O'Hare. Next news, 8:30. Chicago's Morning Answer with Dan and Amy continues next on AM 560, The Answer.
This hourly segment is brought to you by Kelly Financial Services, helping you secure your financial future today. Visit kellyfinancialservicesinc.com.
This is Chicago's Morning Answer with Dan Proft and Amy Jacobson on AM 560. The Answer.
Good morning, Dan and Amy. With the plea deal entered into by Trump, former National Security Advisor General Michael Flynn, is it time to impeach Trump? That was the question that was on the minds of all the leftists that moderate the Sunday talkies, including Chuck Todd over at Meet the Press, speaking with Senator Dianne Feinstein, who may be facing a primary challenge from billionaire Tom Steyer, whose entire reason for existence is to impeach Trump. Here's what DiFi had to say in response.
Concern rises with the day. The concern about this White House rises.
About the president? Your concern about this president's ability to do the job rises by the day?
Oh, yes. Oh, yes. I've been here for 25 years now. There is a kind of instability, unpredictability. It's one issue after the other. We've got major problems in the world with our allies now, in the Middle East, with North Korea. It goes on. And I think that this president is just precipitating more and more angst that's going to lead to serious discord.
Angst and discord. Are those high crimes and misdemeanors now?
Angst and Discord's name of your junior high school band.
Yeah,
right?
exactly. Jay Giles band, cover band. Yeah, the angst and discord and hot spots around the world. North Korea just became a hot spot.
Yeah, we never had
China, the
problems
Middle
with-
East. I mean, this is so absurd. DiFi seems to be trying to cover her hindsight with respect to potential primary challenge from Steyer. But, you know, amid all of the fanfare from the left, like we finally are on our way to impeachment, when pressed for the particulars, what does DiFi offer? Abstractions like discord and stability. Does that speak to a relative weakness of the argument and the weakness of the argument connected to the weakness of Mueller's case to this point? For more on this topic, we're pleased to be joined by our friend, former United States Attorney General, now the Dean of Belmont University School of Law in Nashville, Belmont, Amy, the mascot.
The Bruins.
Correct. Very nice.
Been
Alberto
listening.
Gonzalez. Alberto Gonzalez joins us now. Attorney General Gonzalez, thanks so much for joining us. Appreciate it.
Good morning. It's good to be back.
Good to have you back. And so what about what you're hearing in terms of the quality of the response with respect to distilling the implications of the Flynn plea deal from politicians and partisan pundits and prosecutors?
Well, everyone's going to be making comments that, well, not everyone. That's a broad generalization. I think a lot of people are making comments just based upon what suits their political interests. But I do think it's fair to say that there are some serious questions that have been raised as a result of the Flynn plea deal, and obviously Bob Mueller has a very broad mandate here, and it's never good to have the FBI or the special counsel investigating you, and I know the folks in the White House have got to be a little bit nervous, although hopefully the chief of staff has given, and the president have given clear directions to the staff in the White House that the best way to serve the American people is to do the job of the American people, and hopefully they're focused on doing that. But human nature being the way it is, I think there are probably some people that are nervous about what's going to happen.
Well, right, but the question is, should we all be nervous? Because as part of what's happening, as Andy McCarthy argues in National Review, that the Mueller investigation is politics. It's not law enforcement. It's not counter-intel.
Well, I don't know whether or not it's fully. It's hard to say that it's fully politics when you've got at least two people that have pled guilty to crimes that are related. Of course, they are related to making false statements. But like every investigation, it's sort of building blocks, and so Mueller is built using these building blocks and using certain individuals to get certain information, and building this wall, this creation higher and higher to see where it goes. As I said, he's got a very broad mandate, and I'd be a little bit nervous, quite frankly. if in fact there has been wrongdoing. That's the key. Has there been wrongdoing? And we don't see, there's been no evidence of wrongdoing to date, but that's what the investigation is all about. I worry about people saying, well, there was no collusion, nothing wrong happened here. How do you know that unless you've done an investigation? And that's what Mueller's trying to find out, whether or not, in fact, everything was done in a way that was not inconsistent with law.
Well, why do you think Michael Flynn felt the need to lie, and who do you think is further up on the food chain that they're trying to get?
Well, I gather that typically someone lies in order to protect themselves or someone else from possible prosecution related to wrongdoing. And so I'm assuming that's why Michael Flynn may have made some misstatements in connection with this investigation. And the reason that he accepted the plea is because he wanted to either protect himself from more serious charges or protect others, like there's speculation that perhaps it related to trying to protect his son from possible prosecution, or may have related to perhaps protecting someone else higher up in the administration. That remains to be seen. It's I guess it's fun. It's speculating about what may happen here, but there's still so many unanswered questions. It really is hard to try to predict where this thing's going to go.
Alan Dershowitz suggests that the plea agreement with Flynn is actually a signal of the weakness of Mueller's case, because you don't want a target like Flynn to plead out to lying to the FBI. You want him to plead out or to provide evidence in advance of some sort of a larger conspiracy among higher ups, and that obviously is foreclosed based on this plea deal and his credibility as a witness to anything more than his own misstatements to the FBI, his own lying to the FBI. Do you agree with that assessment?
Well, we don't know what Flynn has given up. That assumes that we've gotten all the information that we have from Flynn, that Flynn can provide, and that none of that information can be useful in indicting anyone else up the food chain. We just don't know what Flynn has provided. And also, as part of my understanding is, as part of the deal here, is that Flynn is obligated to continue to provide any additional information that may come to light, or to confirm any additional information that may come to light. So I don't know whether or not Mr. Dershowitz's assessment is accurate or not. Again, it's hard to speculate about the direction and the scope of an investigation. You never know what information has led to what information, and you just don't know what information the special counsel has today and his plan of action, how he may be going a certain direction for reasons that we just can't comprehend, and only until later on when we discover or we learn about where the investigation has gone do we understand exactly the motives for questioning someone or giving someone like Flynn a plea deal. It's just hard to, again, as I've said repeatedly in this interview, it's just really hard to predict or to know the scope and direction of an investigation like this one.
What did you make of President Trump's tweet on Saturday when he said, "I had to fire General Flynn because he lied to the vice president and the FBI"?
Well, some people have said that's evidence that the president was trying to obstruct justice by asking Comey to back off of the investigation. I'm not sure that I agree with that. I think, again, the president did not direct Jim Comey to back off on the investigation. He asked about it, and he asked in a way that was kind of like, "Hey, can't you see your way clear to dropping this investigation of Flynn?" So I don't know. I don't agree. I'm not there yet with respect to obstruction of justice. I think that's certainly on the table, and I think if I were in the White House, that would be probably the thing that would make me most nervous, based upon the information that I don't have, as well as the information that I do have.
Although his attorney, one of Trump's attorneys, John Dowd, later clarified that tweet that he said he authored to kind of explain.
Well, I found that
that's
because
weird.
now he's made himself a witness. That's the thing that really complicates things, because Mueller's going to want to now sit down with that attorney and question him, because he's now interjected himself into this investigation.
Okay.
And I think that was foolish.
Okay.
And
why is it foolish?
Because now he may have to back away from representing the president. He may have to get his own counsel, and you have to. Why would he do this? I don't think that the tweet was actually very helpful to any ends that were important. Are you still there?
Yeah,
we're here.
Yeah.
Oh, I'm sorry. I'm hearing some beeping. I'm sorry. I don't think the tweet was very helpful. But we'll see what happens. I think this is something that Bob Mueller is going to want to get to the bottom of, find out exactly what happened. It seems strange that the lawyer would interject himself at this particular time. But again, there's lots of strange about what's going on.
But the American people have been under the impression that President Trump has authored his own tweets this entire time, and now all of a sudden my assistant attorney has control of my Twitter account. It seems so strange.
It does seem it seems contrived, quite frankly. But again, that's why I'm sure Mueller's going to want to question the lawyer and find out what's going on here.
I know, it's difficult to comment on what we don't know, and you have to kind of let the process play out and then see how it was handled. But sort of looking at this in the rearview mirror, allowing it all to play out without comment is also a way to, fail to provide accountability. And I think you have to assess the quality of the investigation in real time. So, for example, Trump's other tweet about the FBI's reputation being in tatters runs concurrent with the announcement that this veteran FBI investigator, Peter Strzok, is off the Mueller team because derogatory text messages about the president between he and a colleague, who apparently was his mistress, good grief, were identified. And so what about the questions about the integrity and the objectivity, post-partisan quality of the Mueller investigation? Are those fair questions?
Those are always fair questions. You always want an investigation to be viewed as completely impartial and fair. But I would just caution that to question the integrity or to say that the FBI has a poor reputation based on the actions of one individual is just as inappropriate as saying that a transition team or entire White House, there's something wrong with the integrity of a White House or entire transition because of the actions of one individual. I think we need to be careful about that, to paint with such a broad brush. Based on my experience, personal experience, the folks that work in the FBI are just extraordinary men and women, and they do extraordinary work. And I do not believe that the reputation is in tatters, that the morale is bad, quite frankly. And in some ways, I think those comments from the president were unfortunate. I think the president, as head of the executive branch, is entirely entitled to express his views. These are the kind of views that I think might be more effective expressed privately, directly to the FBI director or the attorney general, and then let them deal with that privately. But again, as head of the executive branch, he certainly is entitled to have an opinion. I just question whether or not that was the most effective way to express his concerns about the work of the Bureau. If he really believes that, I happen to disagree with that. I have a great deal of confidence in the FBI. And again, the actions of one individual cannot, in my judgment, based on my experience, alter my views about the work of the men and women in that bureau.
Well, that's fair. I certainly agree with kind of not painting with a broad brush, and you could argue the Inspector General's office found these text messages, and thus the action that was taken by Mueller's team. But he wasn't just one individual at the FBI. He was the lead investigator on the Clinton email investigation, and he was central to the Trump-Russia investigations. And so, you could say that they found somebody who had acted inappropriately, they took action, but combined with all of Comey's statements over the last year, and situations like this, and the donation history of some of the people on Mueller's team, you can also understand why people have a raised eyebrow with respect to some of this.
Well, no question, and that's why at the beginning of my comment I said it's very important that any investigation. You want you don't want there to be questions about the impartiality or the fairness of an investigation. And so it is legitimate to look at these kinds of questions. There's no question about that. I just simply say, painting with a broad brush I think it is also unfair to a lot of good people within the Bureau.
He is former U.S. Attorney General, counselor to the president. He's also the current dean of the Belmont University School of Law in Nashville and the author of the book True Faith and Allegiance. Alberto Gonzales, thanks so much for joining us. Appreciate it.
Thanks for having me. You bet. Bye-bye.
And he joined us on our turnkey.pro answer line.
It's news, opinion, insight. This is Chicago's Morning Answer on AM 560. The Answer.
Balance of Nature's fruits and veggies.
I do feel better, and my MS, I used to be right-handed, and now all my fine motor skills are gone. I can't write, and I cannot use knives. I can't, cut and cook. So then I got my husband's Balance of Nature books out, and I'm like, oh my God, all the food that I'm supposed to be eating is stuff that's in these pills. So it's easier for me to take a pill because I can't chop up some things, and I can't, I just can't do that for myself. That's why I started doing this too, and I do have more energy that's working and helping me.
What are you waiting for? Good health is only a phone call away. Don't miss your opportunity to get a free month's supply of Balance of Nature. Call 1-800-2468-751. That's 1-800-2468-751. Or go online to balanceofnature.com.
Use promo code Chicago.
With the holidays approaching, now is the perfect time to purchase 2 gifts and only pay for 1. Keep one for yourself, give one as a gift. Of course, I'm talking about the MyPillow buy one, get one free offer. It's back. And I urge you to go online or call now and take advantage by using the promo code Amy. You will get the absolute best deal available. I personally love my pillows. I get a great night's sleep by moving the fill to give me the support I want. I wake up feeling refreshed, ready to tackle my day. I love that you can wash them and dry them. They're hypoallergenic. Plus, they have a 10-year warranty and a 60-day money-back guarantee. And it's great to know that you're supporting an American company that employs American workers and that has helped thousands of hurricane victims. So get your buy one, get one free offer by going to MyPillow.com, type Amy, A-M-Y, in that promo code, or call 800-489-0201. That's 800-489-0201, promo code Amy.
Hey guys, Ken here from the hit podcast Today's Growth. Who would win a 3-mile bicycle race, an 11-year-old girl or last year's winner of the Tour de France? It all depends on the bicycle. It depends on their vehicle. Both on a 10-speed and the pro racer is going to win every time. But put the racer on a tricycle and the 11-year-old wins every time. You see, it's not the driver, it's the vehicle. When it comes to generating revenue, it's exactly the same. If you have a job or a small business, you are riding a tricycle. You can only go so fast. If you need to make up lost ground, it's not going to happen on a tricycle. No matter how fast you pedal, it's simply not going to win the race. Why do many people with no schooling and no advanced degree often become very wealthy? Simple. They choose to only ride 10 speeds. When it comes to helping people create their next revenue model, both Forbes and Inc. recommend Income Store as a can't miss when it comes to putting people on a 10-speed. Could your household or business use an additional revenue model that doesn't solely depend on you? If so, you need to check out IncomeStore.com. That's IncomeStore.com.
On AM 560 The Answer, we talk about the important issues that affect your world. Things like the economy, education, and foreign policy. There's always so much going on in the news that we don't always have the time to focus in and talk about the big ideas behind the important issues. Enter Upstream Ideas online at upstream-ideas.com. Upstream Ideas, in partnership with the Illinois Policy Institute, provides the kind of information that informs the policy discussions happening here on AM 560. At Upstream Ideas, you'll broaden the debate, move beyond partisan assumptions, and challenge accepted beliefs. Upstream Ideas goes against the current and thinks upstream. Go online now at upstream-ideas.com. That's upstream-ideas.com. You'll be armed with new information and fresh perspectives to help encourage you to make the state of Illinois and the United States of America a bit freer, a bit more just, and a bit more civilized. Upstream-ideas.com.
AM 560, The Answer.
Dan and Amy, and just picking up on our conversation with Alberto Gonzales. I mean, I understand his point about painting with a broad brush with the FBI, but I got to tell you, I have much less faith in the FBI now than I did before the 2016 election cycle. And amid everything else that was going on this weekend, There was also this news that's, of course, being underreported.
Because there's a lot going on.
Well, House Republicans drafting contempt of Congress resolutions against Deputy Attorney General Rod Rosenstein and FBI Director Christopher Wray claiming stonewalling and producing material related to the Russia-Trump probes and other matters. And this was after Paul Ryan had announced a few weeks ago that the FBI was finally going to comply with House Republican requests. So not inspiring a lot of confidence, you know what I mean?
Yeah. Well, we're confident in the charity that we've paired up with this holiday season, Food for the Poor, an international relief and development organization. They have facilities all around the world, but we're asking for you to help us with our goal this year to provide food for a year and water for life for 3,000 children in Caribbean islands and in Haiti and in Guatemala. And we need your help. We cannot do this alone, folks. So we want business owners right now, if you do the marketing for your company, to pay attention. You've heard us mention the Business Benefactor Program, but now's the time to move. You make a $2,500 tax-deductible donation. The money goes to Food for the Poor. And a way of saying thank you is we'll give you, Dan can voice him, I can voice him, Joe Walsh, we could voice 40 60-second commercials for your company to be aired right here Monday through Friday from 5 a.m. to 8 p.m. on AM 560. A lot of the companies that you know and love, Precision Payroll, Tom Sadeka, Turnkey IT, they started as business benefactors. And because they advertise on the station, their revenue has grown by leaps and bounds. You want to be a part of this program. To do that, you have to call Michael Mann right now, 847-871-1527, 847-871-1527. He will answer all of your questions. Just call him up, discuss him. He'll walk you through the program. Or you can go to 560theanswer.com, search for the keyword food.
So do some good for children that are facing life-threatening poverty in Haiti and Guatemala, and we'll help you and your business do well. Again, join some of our business donor leaders like Elgin Recycling, Hayward HVAC, TTI Medical Training, Chris Jacobs, Century 21 Affiliated, all who've enrolled in the Business Benefactor Program, made a $2,500 tax-deductible donation to Food for the Poor, and are receiving 40 60-second commercials that will air weekdays in our prime broadcasting day here on AM 560. Michael Mann is the guy to call, 847-871-1527, or go to 560theanswer.com and search for the keyword food.
Coming up on Chicago's Morning Answer,
more alleged predators identified in the arts community at 8:38.
But first, let's go into the newsroom. Here's Mike Scott.
Amy and Dan, good morning. Good morning, everyone. 56 degrees, gray skies, and a wind advisory up beginning at 3 this afternoon. President Trump accusing the FBI of ruining Michael Flynn's life.
Well, I feel badly for General Flynn. I feel very badly. He's led a very strong life, and I feel very badly.
This morning, the president was asked about his former national security advisor pleading guilty to lying to the FBI, possibly setting up a plea deal in the ongoing, wide-ranging Russia investigation. Alabama Senate candidate Roy Moore getting his biggest endorsement yet from the president, who posted on Twitter this morning that the fact that not a single Democrat backs the GOP tax plan is why we need Republican Roy Moore. Meantime, House and Senate negotiators will begin to resolve differences in the two chambers' tax reform bills, the Senate approving a sweeping Republican package of tax cuts and reforms early Saturday. Drugstore giant CVS is buying Aetna Insurance in a $69 billion deal. CVS says combining the two companies gives them a unique chance to give people access to high-quality health care at a much lower cost. Sentencing of former South Carolina police officer Michael Slager gets underway today. He pled guilty in May to excessive force for shooting Walter Scott in the back in 2015. Lake County authorities are investigating sexual abuse allegations against a former conductor at Ravinia in Highland Park. The New York Times says now 3 men are accusing James Levine of sexually abusing them decades ago when they were teens. One accuser, a suburban native, Ashok Pai, filed a report with the Lake Forest Police Department last year. Chicago Fire Department giving back to families of fallen firefighters and paramedics over the weekend. Captain Anthony Martin presenting more than $630,000 to loved ones yesterday in the Mount Greenwood neighborhood.
Together, we're distributing $638,750. And I'd like to thank all the members of the community that have made this possible.
The Widows and Children's Assistance Fund raised that money through private donations, and and paycheck checkoffs. Robbie Gould, the former Bear, came back to haunt his old team. 5 field goals, the last one with 4 seconds left, helped the Niners stump the Bears 15-14. Kings over the Blackhawks 3-1. Bulls take on Cleveland later on tonight. The news, a service of Office Depot Office Max. You've been taking care of business all year, so let Office Depot Office Max take care of you. Treat yourself to great deals on tech and furniture, like maybe a new laptop, or replace that squeaky chair. You deserve it. Office Depot Office Max, taking care of business. 8:33 and a check of traffic and weather on the way next on AM 560.
Mike Gallagher is hoping America comes to its senses on sanctuary cities.
A city like San Francisco protects a guy like the Kate Steinle killer so he can be out on the street to do what he did. This will spur an even greater insistence and make the wall and make the elimination of sanctuary cities even more imminent.
The Mike Gallagher Show. Weekdays at 9, right before Dennis Prager at 11 on AM 560. The Answer.
This hourly segment is brought to you by Papa Nicholas Coffee. Papa Nicholas, great coffee, period.
Hiring is important, but finding the right people can be a real challenge. That's why ZipRecruiter is obsessed with finding you qualified candidates fast. ZipRecruiter finds candidates with the right experience and notifies them to apply for your job. No wonder 80% of employers who post on ZipRecruiter get a quality candidate through the site within just 1 day. The right candidates are out there. This is how you find them. ZipRecruiter, the smartest way to hire.
To try ZipRecruiter for free, just go to ZipRecruiter.com/talkradio. That's ZipRecruiter.com/talkradio.
One size fits all has no place in your bedroom. Hi, I'm Christian von Rickenbach, founder of Helix Sleep, and we know one mattress can't work for everyone. That's why we created the only mattress built for you. Go to helixsleep.com, take our 2-minute sleep quiz, and we'll build your custom mattress and ship it to you for free. Try it for 100 nights, and if it's not the best sleep you've ever had, we'll pick it up and give you your money back. Go to helixsleep.com/talkradio right now, and we'll give you $50 towards your custom mattress. That's helixsleep.com/talkradio.
It is 8:35. Let's check the roads in the Alarm Detection Systems Traffic Center. In for Jim, here's Al.
Thanks, Mike. On the Edens, inbound, very good now. Just 21 in from Lake Cook to the Kennedy Junction. 26 back out to Lake Cook. Kennedy inbound is still jammed an hour 8. O'Hare to downtown. 41 back out to the airport. The Eisenhower is 57 into the post office. 46 back out to Thorndale. Stevenson an hour 4 into Lakeshore Drive, only 38 back out to 355. Dan Ryan a 32-minute drive into downtown, no delays back down to 95th. Bishop Ford inbound is heavy from 115th to the Ryan. It's about half an hour in from 8094 to the Ryan. Southbound Lakeshore Drive is slow all the way from Hollywood to North Avenue. It's 40 minutes from Hollywood down to Monroe. Northbound Lakeshore Drive delays between the Stevenson and Jackson. From 67th to Jackson, about a 26-minute trip. Tri-State southbound slows from Lawrence to the Bensonville Bridge. Northbound from the Stevenson to 31st, it's backed up. Traffic answers when you need the most. I'm Al Verdi on AM 560, The Answer.
Chicago's Morning Answer continues next. Your official Chicagoland weather forecast. Cloudy. Showers have passed through the area, and now the winds begin to pick up. High near 63 around midday with winds south at 16, and we'll see wind gusts up over 30 miles an hour this afternoon, with a wind advisory going into effect around 3 this afternoon. Very windy, rain, and maybe a thunderstorm overnight. We'll drop to a low of 36 with a high only of 38 tomorrow. 55 at O'Hare. Next news coming up at 9. Chicago's Morning Answer with Dan and Amy continues next on AM 560, The Answer.
Listen to AM 560 on your mobile device. Now available on iHeartRadio. Online at iHeartRadio.com.
Let freedom ring this afternoon at 2 with Sean Hannity. Right before Joe Walsh at 5 on AM 560. The Answer.
Good morning, Dan and Amy. And there we go.
Hi, how are you?
Volume adjustment. Good. And so...
I'm glad you're great. How was your weekend?
It's great. We stop the idle chatter now and get to it.
Oh, my gosh.
We have value to convey.
Wow.
Yeah.
You get a little personable. Dan attacks. Roar.
Exactly. Played golf yesterday.
Oh, you did? How did you play?
Not very well. Played okay. Played with Gary Grove, the great Illinois Golf Hall of Famer, the great longtime pro at Bobolink.
Okay.
Nice,
Bobolink.
nice gentleman. That was
women
fun.
only, right? Bobolinks?
Women only?
I mean, sorry, men only at Bobolink.
That would be news at Bobolink. The place would be
Sure.
shut down
Hey,
in a
guys,
New
we're
York minute.
We're turning some things around here. You guys can go home.
Yeah.
Ladies only now.
I don't think Coach Ditka would go along with that program up there at Bobolink. Your friend, Coach Ditka.
Coach.
All right, we've got to update, every day. More allegations come forward of predatory behavior by alleged creeps or, frankly, criminals in the arts community, in politics, in media. And over the weekend, a number. And by the way, I want to make sure, because we're always talking about men versus women. Well, we've got more and more instances of men on men. I mean, we do. Famed fashion photographer Bruce Weber, who's done a lot of iconic photography for Vogue and Rolling Stone, was accused of forcefully kissing male models. James Boyce said the disturbing incident with Weber occurred in a December 2014 shoot at the photographer's Manhattan studio. And he goes on to provide gory detail on what Mr. Weber allegedly did. You know where this goes. It goes to the same place that, the 4 men who alleged sexual misconduct by the Senate president's husband in Massachusetts said it went. The Brian Hefner, then fiancé of Senate President Stanley Rosenberg. Brian Hefner. Stanley Rosenberg, the Massachusetts Senate president. 4 men alleged sexual misconduct by Mr. Hefner. For example, he recalled one accuser recalled Hefner asking him to have some fun with him, telling him his husband, Rosenberg, wouldn't mind, that Hefner and the Senate president were a team on Beacon Hill and that they would take care of him. And he grabbed the man's junk and wouldn't let go. That's one example of the alleged misconduct. 4 men coming forward against the Senate president's husband, this gay couple, the fashion photographer.
And then the legendary Metropolitan Opera conductor, James Levine, molested an Illinois teenager from the time he was 15 years old. Sexual abuse, they said, that lasted for years and led the alleged victim to the brink of suicide. It's a police report. It happened while he was at the Ravinia Musical Festival outside of Chicago, because he'd come back as a guest conductor year after year, and every time he allegedly molested, sexually assaulted the same 15-year-old.
Yeah. And now the Met has separated themselves from Mr. Levine, and the accusations stretch back to 1968.
Wow.
You know, where this goes, does he face criminal exposure on this? It's unclear because of the nature of how the statute can toll based on whether it's ongoing. You know, it's a kind of an ongoing crime. That's going to be a matter potentially for police and prosecutors. But, just all of this coming forward, and are we going to see, should people boycott the Met?
Well, according to the police report that's, filed in Lake County, he said, I began seeing a 41-year-old man when I was 15 without really understanding that I was seeing him. The alleged victim, who's now 48, said in a written statement to the police that it nearly destroyed my family and almost led me to suicide. I felt alone and afraid. He was trying to seduce me, and I couldn't see this when I was a kid, but now I can.
And you think that identity politics can protect you? All those on the left? And boy, here we go again. I mean, 90% of those accused are men of the left. In the arts, in entertainment, in media, in politics. There are some on the right that are accused of boorish behavior, and frankly, some of the charges against those on the right, I believe, so I find them despicable as well. But it is interesting to note that the sexual liberation, anything goes crowd represents 90% of the alleged predators that we've discussed over the last 2 months. It's worth noting because there's something about it. It goes back to the conversation we had on Friday per Mona Charon's piece about how feminism, this isn't an opportunity for feminism. This is the byproduct of modern-day feminism as advocated by the Gloria Steinems and the Bella Abzugs and the Naomi Wolfs and so on and so forth. And then you're going to have instances, as we've seen previously, where identity politics runs headlong into each other. And what are you to do, Nancy Pelosi, when John Conyers is the accused? Well, the same thing is happening at traditionally black colleges. Spelman and Morehouse. Morehouse protects rapists. Spelman protects rapists. These are flyers that are being scattered around the campuses of Spelman and Morehouse. Some of the documents accuse prominent athletes and fraternity members by name. So now you've got, so this is where the left cannibalizes its own because it's about identity, not standards. And so you're going to see all of these institutions that have subsisted on identity and have been celebrated because of identity and are founded on the very, very tenuous base of identity. They're going to come falling. They're going to come falling down. They're going to collapse in on themselves. That's what's happening. And these are some of our civilizing institutions in civil society. I mean, I'm a patron of the arts. I enjoy the lyric opera and Shakespeare theater. You know, this is a truism. Conservatives support the arts. It's not just a haven for the left, even though that's most of what you see on stage when you get outside of the works of the great artists across the different disciplines. But college campuses, media, entertainment, politics.
I thought the next shoe to drop would not be in the arts. I thought it would be in the financial world, possibly in the mortgage business, on Wall Street. I mean, who knows?
Well, that I assume that will ultimately happen. I mean, the wolves of Wall Street didn't end with the 80s, so I'm sure that's the case, and so it will be mixed. But what's the real base of this? It's standard free conduct. Shall not judge. And here's something else, too. You want to see how far off the rails this goes? A piece in Big Think, bigthink.com.
Oh, are we going to talk about this?
Oh, yeah.
We talked about this early the morning before the show began.
Yeah. Is necrophilia wrong?
Okay.
Question mark. I know this is the question you've been dying to ask, Amy, and so we should explore this. I'm not kidding. Is necrophilia wrong?
I've met a necrophiliac once, and they're mentally deranged people. Or is that too judgmental on my part?
Well,
he said he did it because he can't get women because he's obese.
I mean, we're talking about another academic here, who not the necrophiliac, but the author. Big Think, South African bioethicist named Tariq Musa, who, in response to the question he poses, is necrophilia wrong?
When was it ever right, Dan?
Well, he wants to make you understand why it's not wrong, because we're not sacred. Here, just listen to this.
Okay.
Here's his argument. The argument against necrophilia. I mean, honestly, you have to have this discussion. This is where we're at. This is what happens when you erase all the lines and then you think you can redraw them. Opposition to necrophilia, well, normally it's seen as disrespecting the dead. But the reason, according to Mr. Musa, South African bioethicist, the reason we ought to be upset by someone violating a dead loved one is not because it will offend the deceased, but because it offends us. Our dead loved ones become property.
Oh, my God.
Just as we wouldn't want someone breaking into our home and making a concubine of our toaster, we wouldn't want the same for the bodies of our deceased loved ones. Their memory is not violated. Only the corpse which once housed their living selves.
Oh, God.
Thus, we can condemn necrophilia, but we should get rid of the term and simply call it property violation. There is nothing special about a dead human body. So understand your dearly departed loved ones are nothing more than toasters. Is that how you view them? Is that how you view the sacred essence of your loved ones? Wesley Smith responds to this better than I can.
What does he say?
He writes, "The corpse of my mother is not akin to a toaster. It was an icon of her, expressing the truth of both who and what she was. Using her body in disrespectful ways would have been to denigrate her as a once living being. It would be to say her remains were of no greater meaning than that of a roadkill squirrel's. It would also imply that her life wasn't either. Deconstructing moral boundaries such as the prohibition against necrophilia could lead to all manner of degrading and perverted behaviors banned precisely because society accepts the intrinsic and unique value of human life. And because there are many in quarters of elite society, academia, media, entertainment, politics, that don't believe in that predicate intrinsic and unique value of human life, you are off the rails into this wilderness of thruples and the lascivious conduct, if not criminal conduct, that's been detailed now across all of those elite institutions. The arguments that are made for pedophilia in places like Salon.com, leftist rags, the think pieces on blogs by academics like, is necrophilia wrong? We have to understand necrophilia's wrongness from the right perspective and not from the sacred nature of human life understanding. This is where this all goes. So when you read these kind of salacious headlines and stories, get beyond the guilty pleasure, get beyond the outrage and the moral indignation, and understand how we have begotten all of what you're seeing move from the tabloids into dominating our political discourse, our discourse as to what kind of society we're going to be in terms of our interaction with one another, both between the sexes and within the sexes, as we now have seen with some of these more high-profile cases that have been reported over the weekend.
The more you listen, the more you'll know. This is Chicago's Morning Answer. Morning Answer on AM 560. The Answer.
Famous conservative quotes presented by Automated Systems.
Honest Abe Lincoln wisely said, "America will never be destroyed from the outside. If we falter and lose our freedoms, it will be because we destroyed ourselves." Wise indeed.
I know you support companies that share your conservative values. For FDA-regulated staffing needs, Automated Systems provides top talent, from experienced quality control and quality assurance engineers to top validation and compliance experts. Depend on Automated Systems. Hiring the best is critical to success. ASI Resources are all degreed professionals with decades of experience in manufacturing, automation, and FDA compliance. That's why ASI is retained by all of Chicagoland's Fortune 500 life science companies to successful startups. For a staffing evaluation, call Laz at Automated Systems, toll-free 844-HIRE-ASI, or visit automatedsys.com.
As flu season approaches, you know how to protect yourself against colds and viruses, do you? But do you know how to protect your computer network? Ransomware, viruses, hacks, intrusions, they can stop your company's computer network in an instant. Are you safe and protected? Can your data be restored easily? These are important questions, and if not, then you need to make an appointment with Turnkey IT today. Turnkey IT provides frontline security for your network and its data. So if there's an email attachment opened in error, a network intruder, Turnkey IT immediately knows and can solve the problem. They'll arm your network with cutting-edge antivirus, disaster recovery, and proactive monitoring software systems to stop virus outbreaks before they have a chance to spread. Over the phone or in person, Turnkey IT is your network safeguard against this season's worst bugs. See what a dose of Turnkey proactive support can do for you. It's easy. Visit turnkey.pro. That's turnkey.pro.
Balance of Nature's fruits and veggies.
I'm doing great. I'm loving the balance of nature. I don't know, my hair feels fuller. I think my skin looks nicer. I do see improvement, and I'm a very energetic person even with type 2 diabetes and everything. I always feel pretty good. So this is really, I think I even have more energy on this, which is great. Some some products are, just phony products and they just tell you. But the people from Balance of Nature, when you hear, like I listen to the radio show so many times and I'm like, what am I waiting for? Like, I should just try it.
What are you waiting for? Good health is only a phone call away. Don't miss your opportunity to get a free month's supply of Balance of Nature. Call 1-800-2468-751. That's 1-800-2468-751. Or go online to balanceofnature.com.
Use promo code Chicago.
This holiday season, make the smart choice and switch to Sprint and get a new Samsung Galaxy S8, S8 Plus, Note 8, or S8 Active with 50% off your lease. That's right, the hottest Samsung devices 50% off. Plus, with Galaxy Forever, you can upgrade to the latest Galaxy anytime after 12 lease payments. And when you switch to Sprint, you get the best price for unlimited. $25 per month per line for a family of 4, plus get a 5th line free. That's 50% off Verizon, AT&T, and T-Mobile. You also get 10 gigabytes of mobile hotspot in HD, so you can stream your favorite holiday movies, music, and games. So stop by your local Sprint store, sprint.com/holiday deals, or call 1-800-SPRINT1 to learn more.
Requires 18-month lease and new line savings via monthly credit applied within 2 bills. Early termination results in remaining balance due after 1/31/19. Pay $38 a line per month with autopay. Excludes taxes, surcharges, and roaming. Compared to Verizon Beyond Unlimited rates, AT&T Unlimited Plus plan, and T-Mobile One Plus plan for 5 lines. Carrier features differ. Coverage and offer not everywhere. Subject to credit and $30 activation fee. Speed maximums, use rules, and restrictions apply.
Point Blank Range and Gun Shop provides a clean and safe indoor shooting range and retail store. At Point Blank, associates focus on customer needs, whether they're an expert or new to shooting. That's why people are talking about Point Blank.
I can tell you, I was impressed as soon as I walked through the door. The employees were really helpful, very patient, and knowledgeable, too.
Point Blank Range and Gun Shop. Experience the difference this holiday season. ShootPointBlank.com for more information. Check out the Glock event this weekend at Point Blank Range and Gun Shop. All the latest Glock firearms will be featured and on sale this Friday through Sunday and only at Point Blank. Point Blank Range and Gun Shop offers a state-of-the-art indoor shooting range, an extensive inventory of firearms and ammo, and a supportive, knowledgeable team. The Glock event is this weekend at Point Blank Range and Gun Shop. Check out ShootPointBlank.com for all the Glock info. Some restrictions may apply.
On AM 560 The Answer, we talk about the important issues that affect your world. Things like the economy, education, and foreign policy. There's always so much going on in the news that we don't always have the time to focus in and talk about the big ideas behind the important issues. Enter Upstream Ideas online at upstream-ideas.com. Upstream Ideas, in partnership with the Illinois Policy Institute, provides the kind of information that informs the policy discussions happening here on AM 560. At Upstream Ideas, you'll broaden the debate, move beyond partisan assumptions, and challenge accepted beliefs. Upstream Ideas goes against the current and thinks upstream. Go online now at upstream-ideas.com. That's upstream-ideas.com. You'll be armed with new information and fresh perspectives to help encourage you to make the state of Illinois and the United States of America a bit freer, a bit more just, and a bit more civilized. Upstream-ideas.com.
AM 560, The Answer.
Yeah.
We're going to remind you to help those less fortunate this holiday season. We've teamed up with Food for the Poor. They're a great organization. I was blessed to spend time with them in July when we went to Haiti to see firsthand how they have helped and saved tens of thousands of lives, not only providing food on a daily basis and clean water, but also medicine, vaccinations for kids. They build school because they know the best way out of poverty is through education, and they're just, I can't rave, I can go on and on about Food for the Poor. And we're asking for a one-time donation this holiday season of $50. And with that, you'll provide food for a year and clean water for life. Go to 560theanswer.com, search for the keyword food, and make a donation.
And you successful business owners and operators, entrepreneurs, help Rocco and Moose, or get Rocco and Moose to help you find your wallets. That's what I meant. A little Caddyshack reference there. Our Business Benefactor Program is an opportunity for you to make a $2,500 tax-deductible gift to Food for the Poor. And in return, we'll provide 40 60-second commercials that run Monday to Friday, 5 a.m. to 8 p.m. on our airwaves, prime broadcasting hours, advertising package worth well in excess of the $2,500 donation. And the way that you get involved in the Business Benefactor Program is by calling Michael Mann, our sales manager. His number, 847-871-1527. Again, 847-871-1527. Or just go to the same website that Amy mentioned, 560theanswer.com/food, and you can join our other business benefactor companies, our donor leaders in the business community, like Chris Jacobs, Century 21 affiliated, and others.
All right. I don't have the list here, but how many more? I mean,
I'll give you a few more. Hayward HVAC, Elgin Recycling, TTI Medical Training are among those who've signed up for the Business Benefactor Program, and we thank them.
yeah, and it really is the best deal in Chicago radio advertisement. $2,500. The money goes to Food for the Poor, but 40 one-minute commercials as a way of saying thanks. You cannot beat that deal. So call Michael Mann today. Do it today, or go to 560theanswer.com, keyword food. And again, Michael Mann will answer all of your questions. Thanks so much for making us part of your morning. Thanks to Justin Kosick, our technical director, Quinn McCarthy, our associate producer, and of course, Keith Conrad, our executive producer. We are back here bright and early tomorrow morning at 5 a.m., where it's going to be a lot colder outside, a 30-degree difference. So you're going to enjoy today, because tomorrow